Holy. We're on YouTube. It says 0 people are viewing, but I'm sure Lilypad and Valiant Fane are still there. All right, what number is this? Are you sure it's 38?
Yes, I double checked.
All right, 38 of From the Ground Up. Ice Cube returns.
Yay!
I don't know why it's supposed to be 0 viewers. See?
It's all right. She can hear us.
Say, hey,
Oh, I
Ice Cube.
wasn't. I guess she couldn't see you. I thought she was talking about you, but I guess the video isn't on when she said "All hail the orangutan." I
No,
thought
she
that was
wasn't
just.
talking
Thought she was
about
talking about his orange shirt.
Damn, it's red, but okay.
It looks orange.
I think
on
Joe's
the
colorblind.
Thing.
It does, doesn't it? Halloween, I'm all orange and black on the thing.
Hell yeah! What the fuck are we? Did you guys drop?
She says she wants us to sit in each other's laps or some shit.
Okay.
And
There you
apparently I'm
go.
married to a guy named Mark.
So, Evan, what has changed since you've been here?
Man, not a lot. I've been working with dart frogs. I picked up 2 Azuris at NARBC and from Josh's Frogs, highly recommend. And then I traded a Beoc, one of my little Beocs, for a 10 lot of Azuris. So I've
I
got
didn't
12
know that.
Azuris right now.
And for all those
Dart frog. It's the blue and black painted dart frog. And they are, oh man, they're all so much personality. And at first they were real kind of cautious, I guess, of me, but now I have them on a feeding schedule with their vitamins and fruit flies, all that kind of shit. And so every time they see me and I open the top, I mean, they line up and it's like, feed me, dude. They're great. Dart frogs, like,
do
awesome.
they call during the night?
No, they're too young.
What is that?
Like
You ever heard a frog ribbit?
Yeah, it's a sexual maturity.
Well, they're not doing it just for fun or anything.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know there was a reason they ribbit.
Yeah, they're trying to get that ass.
Okay.
Wait, why do frogs need vitamins?
It's for the I guess it's like calcium I give them, and there's a what's it called? The calcium D3. There's something called Super Pig that on certain colored frogs, your oranges, reds, and yellows, they told me it brightens them up. I mean, I know
that they have that stuff for like fish. If you feed
I think it's
fish
the same
certain
kind of
thing.
stuff. It's the same kind of stuff, and it just makes those colors pop. So I got it thinking, oh, it's gonna make these blues better, but it doesn't work on the blues. But
So why don't obviously reptiles, amphibians, but is there vitamins you can give snakes?
That's a whole different thing. I mean, I don't think you need to. Some people back in the day used to, especially for corn snakes, do like give them calcium when the females are getting ready to lay eggs and stuff like that to calcify the eggs, because they think, hey, I got a slug egg or an egg that didn't completely calcify, which calcify just means basically the development on the outside of the egg. So they're like, if that didn't happen, maybe if I give it some calcium on the mouse or whatever.
And there was a post not too long ago, and they were talking about giving snakes vitamins like that, like dusting the mice or actually injecting the mouse, the feeder. So, I mean, it's crazy stuff.
You can do it. I mean, obviously you don't need to, at least with all the species that we work with that are readily bred. But
I believe that was on, I want to say it was on a Green Tree post.
You guys are always doing weird shit. That's why. They're like, how do we make these things survive better? I mean, at the end of the day, really what it is not going to those extremes. Just fucking.
But yeah, it's a lot different working with amphibians. You know, once again, I'm feeding every other day.
So are those like kept like kind of room temperature? Or?
Room temps. I have no heat on them. I'm running them about anywhere between 74 and about 76. And that's it. I mist them, spray them, keep it real moist, feed them their fruit flies. And
did you end up planting that? Is that aquarium planted? The one that you had in there?
Which one? The big one?
The one you have 2 tanks with them now?
I had the 55 gallon that I built. It's got the foam background, all that. That's planted, and I still want to add more plants. Like, I don't want you to be able to see shit.
Yeah.
And then
I mean, do they grow and take over the tank?
Oh, the plants,
time?
Yeah, but you just keep trimming them. I mean, you just trim them out to however you want them, and it's so much fun.
Are you going to try to like do the bromeliad thing and have them lay eggs on there?
I've got I want to say about 6, 7 bromeliads. Remember all them plants I was getting at NARBC?
I don't know what the difference.
Dude, everybody was laughing
plants.
at me. Everybody was laughing at me because every time I'd walk off and I'd come back, I had more plants. And I've got a whole bunch of bromeliads in there, and they hide in them. And you know, they're months away from any kind of breeding or anything like that. So
yeah, I mean, Daniel's like, I have this spiny tail iguana. You're like, I have some plants. I'm like, who gives a fuck? Yeah, what are you talking about?
I love my plants.
So, are you like, do they just kind of breed on their own?
My understanding with the Azurus is that they have a tendency, your females fight and will kill each other, which is weird because normally most snakes and stuff, it's always the males. But the females, once they're sexually mature, they fight and they will kill each other. So I have to separate and stuff like that. But I'm nowhere near that point right now. Right now, it's just growing them up and keeping them. And probably about 6-7 months, I'll know what I'm dealing with as far as sex.
Is that why you have 2 tanks, or?
Yeah, I just figured 12 of them. I mean, they're little. They're probably about, you know, dime size. And I figured putting all those in one tank is just kind of overkill. And so I've got, how many are in there? I think I have 5. My 5 biggest ones are in my 55-gallon. And then the other day, like probably 3 days ago, I just threw a little 10-gallon together. I went to Lowe's and got glass cut for the top instead of using the screen top. And I just, you know, put a drainage layer, put my stuff down, I had some ABG mix from, I think I got that from Josh's, put that in and put a couple of pothos in there and some cork bark. That's it. And put the rest of them in there, and they're getting fat little bastards.
You got to put like UVB and stuff on there, UV light for the plants.
It works better. You know, right now I've got like, what's those bulbs, like the energy bulbs, you know what I'm saying? The little spiral lights.
Yeah.
And some of them are like actual Zoomed lights, but I want to get those LED plant lights and stuff. Oh my gosh. It just makes your plants explode. Your frogs look better. I can't wait.
But you can have those plants in there living without
it. Yeah. The plants are growing. I mean, right now they're growing like I sprinkled crack on them. But I mean, they're growing. They're growing. They're just, I'm getting all kinds of new growth. There's a lot of moss growing that I didn't even know was in there, and little plants are popping up. And so it's fun, man.
Yeah. What are you planning to do as far as expanding into dart frogs more, or doing chondros?
Oh, come on. It's always going to be chondros. The dart frogs, my wife really likes frogs. And I've never been like a super frog person. I like the natural setups, so it's fun to do them. And then you're just kind of automatically drawn to stuff that can live in a mini jungle.
Eyelash vipers.
Yes.
You're like thinking about cohabs and like
I've
the
already
one
been
that everyone
told,
does.
no, man, she's just like, no hots. You know, I can't have any more hots.
They're like not hot. They're like warm.
Yeah,
they're warm. That's it.
They're warm enough to send you to the ER, but she's not trying to hear it. And so she loves the frogs, and it's one of those things that I like it. And as long as I've got the okay, you know, I'm gonna keep building and putting frogs in.
Does
tanks.
your daughter like looking at the frogs?
She doesn't really see them as much, I guess, because they're so little. She'll see them, but she doesn't really pay them attention. You know,
like
she's
whatever.
She loves the snakes, man. She's in there pointing at them, and she loves the snakes. Yes.
Okay, 2 things. Mark is on Instagram. He said, "What's up, Evan?" And he said, "Note to self: if I want my plants to grow, sprinkle them with crack."
There you go.
I thought they would just get skinnier and stay up at night or something.
And oh shoot, the touch screen's off. I gotta fix that. Lilypad said, "Nope, not that one."
She said, "Bruh.
Why are we taught in school that we can't touch poison dart frogs? I've seen people handle them just fine."
Okay. The thing with poison dart frogs, when they're captive bred, they don't eat the same things that they eat in the wild. In the wild, they're eating these like little ants that gives them their toxins. So once you have them in captivity, they're not eating that. They're eating fruit flies, stuff like that. So they don't have those toxins. Now, what I've just recently learned is I thought once they're always toxic, the frogs, then they're always toxic. But I found out
they detox.
Yeah, they detox. If you bring them in from the wild and you keep them for a while, a couple months or so, and you get them on a diet that you feed them the fruit flies, the springtails, they lose that toxicity, which I still wouldn't touch them. You know, to me, I'm scared. Like, what if they
either
don't,
way,
you know?
it's a dart frog. They're not very good if you want to handle them.
You know, and everybody knows me with my chondros. I don't handle them. You know, I don't like to handle things like that are that I don't want to say sensitive, but they're just not that type of snake. And dart frogs are just right in line with that. Like, why handle them?
Yeah.
I mean, for what? To take a picture, he jumps out of your hand and breaks something? No.
Yeah, I
Plus
mean,
the oils on your skin.
I've seen people handle dart frogs in the wild that they just let them go across their hand and stuff. I mean, you can take your chances there, but
some of that shit will kill you. Just touching it will kill you. I'm good on that. Okay, I like breathing.
Jumping topics. I don't know if you want to answer this now or save it for later, but someone said, why aren't there many milk snake morphs?
Oh, I mean, there are, but not many people care. I mean, there are and there aren't. But anyway.
Sorry.
So as far as dart frogs go, like, do you want to get other things other than Azurius?
Oh yeah, I want the Leucomellas, the bumblebees, the black and yellows. My wife really likes the.
I like those mint, the goldens that are the
the
mint phase
terrible.
of them.
I think it's
Terribilis
or Terribles. Dude,
neither of us speak Latin very well.
They're big and they're bold. Like they just don't give a shit about people. Like they come out.
I heard they're really loud too.
I've never seen them in person, so I'm not sure. I know Zach Baez just picked up a group of them, but he's got the yellows. They're golden, whatever they are. They're not the mints, but
I think those are the same thing. I think there's two different color
phases. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some cool frogs, but
it's cool because with those ones you can keep them in the same enclosure because they are the same thing, just different color phases. So it doesn't matter if they interbreed.
I'm not gonna say that. Well, hey, these dart frog people are nuts. If any of y'all have been in any of the dart frog groups, do not ask them about hybridizing the frogs because they will fucking
execute. Can I put my bumblebees with my Azurius?
Dude, they executed me. This was like maybe 2 years ago. I didn't have any frogs. I was just curious, asking questions. And I asked, what would it look like if I bred?
AK, what you do to all the new people on Green Tree?
Well, no, this was like a just a legit question. Like if I keep these frogs together and they breed, what would the babies look like?
Right.
That's all I asked. Dude, you might as well pulled over the rope and hung me from a tree. Like they were
so
irate. And I was like I was just kind of asking a question about breeding. I didn't say I was going to do it. I just wondered, had anybody done it? And they look so like, dude, don't do it. Like if you're interested in dart frogs, do not go in those groups asking them about hybridizing shit because you'll be excommunicated. They will. No.
Even the other day in one of the carpet python groups, someone said, I'm thinking about breeding my red line to my IJ or whatever, and freaking out. And I mean, yeah, I mean, whatever, but I mean, that's going to happen in every subset of the hobby with the hybrid. It does,
but even with the hybrid thing in snakes, I see a lot of people that are, oh, it's cool. You know, the carpondros are cool, things like that. Some people like it, some people don't. But it's like 99.99999% of dart frog people are highly against hybridizing these frogs. Don't do it. And, you know, I like locality stuff anyway, like with my green trees. I do like the designers. I will own designers, especially some blue line. But I love the locality and keeping it, you know, Aru to Aru, Cyclops to Cyclops. I think they produce badass animals. I don't, with anything, I wouldn't mix it up like, what is it, a jungle and is it a king snake? A king snake and a corn snake?
Yeah, the jungle corn.
Yeah, not a jungle.
I was like, shit, man.
No, that's crazy.
That's happening.
But
interfamily breeding.
I don't see a huge market for that, one. And then two, I just don't see why.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, what's really the point? Now, there's a market on some hybrids. I believe there's a strong market on carpondros.
Yeah.
There's not really a strong market on carpet ball python crosses. You know, like who the fuck wants that?
But everyone's still gonna ask you about it, and then they're gonna get torn apart. And then,
but yeah, I just don't do it. When it comes to them damn frogs, don't do it.
Or do it, and just after the damage is done, you can sell your babies to the.
Or if you just feel like trolling a group, you know, breed them and go in there and post a bunch of pictures of your hybrids and watch them lose their shit. You'll probably be blocked and kicked out of the group in about 2.5 minutes.
I saw that like Woma ball python was pretty good. The wall it was fucking cool looking, but Woma python and a ball python.
I mean, some of them are cool looking, but to me, when you're taking a snake from Africa that lives down in a hole, and then you're breeding it to a carpet python from Australia that doesn't live in a hole, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're kind of fucking with evolution a little bit, because now this snake is probably confused on which bathroom to use. You know what I mean? Like, where does it go from here? Like, naturally, instinctively, ball pythons hide. Carpet pythons are kind of out and about. So now what does that do to that snake on the inside? I mean, I'm just asking. I really don't. I don't know
any
if
of
it
the
would fuck the
behaviors
snake
of that.
up.
I don't know anyone who's kept multiple generations of any of those hybrids, or
If
I
they're
mean, I
even
know most
sterile.
of them can't breed,
Yeah,
from what I
if they're
understand, at least
sterile, so-
outside of the genus. But I don't
know.
know.
I don't know. It's just hybridizing
obviously if there was a good market, or any of the hybrids that exist, if there is a good market, they're still out there. Like Carpondros, people who have those. I mean, you don't know anyone who keeps angry balls and walls and bat eaters and all that shit. I mean, just there's so many different things to do with a retic. Why would you need to cross it with something else?
And one of the things, you don't always have to breed everything.
Yeah.
I think we got in this where for a long time, especially like the early 90s, everybody was just keepers. And then all of a sudden it just exploded to where we all wanted to be breeders. Everything you bought, you got to buy in pairs or trios and try to breed it. Sometimes it's fun to just keep. Like, you don't have to breed
trios
everything.
of males. I've done really good at picking up pairs.
Right.
I have trio of males and a pair of males.
Maybe they're just confused.
I don't know. No, I can't. No amount of Jesus will change them over. I don't know.
Invert something and make it
Yeah. But I mean, back in the day,
On the next
I didn't even
episode,
know that. I didn't even know
transgender
that
carpet pythons.
snake breeders were a thing when I was a kid and first started keeping snakes. I was like, I just got snakes, but I didn't really realize people bred them for money. I knew I paid money for them, but I didn't know
Yeah, it always felt like everything was just caught out of the wild. It just felt like it was put on the table, and that's what you thought. And now it's like, it's almost, there's no keepers anymore. Everybody just breeds. The people breed because for the passion of produce a new animal. It's fun to watch this thing go from the actual to being dropped into an egg to being to hatching. It's so badass. Then you got people that are just like, I will never breed for money. I think money just goes right back into the other snakes.
Yeah.
That's all it does. That feed bill, buying caging, water bowls, it just goes back into that shit. You're not going to get rich. There's a couple of folks that do this, as a job full time, but to me, the rest of us, don't do that. It's a hobby and it's just fun. And when you see guys come in here and it's like, I'm gonna just come in and do this and breed this so I can get rich and make all this money, you're not gonna last very long. And that happened recently on one of the green tree groups. There's a guy that came in and was just like, I'm a breed and I'm a wholesale and I'm gonna flip these things. And we're all like, yo, like the chondro community already is pretty small. It's really tight knit.
It's good at getting good shitty people out. Too.
Very good. And then it's like all of a sudden
once you have that mark on you, you're fucked.
Oh yeah, your reputation means everything. Yeah. And I mean, it should be like that in all aspects of anything you do. But with green trees and a lot of these other snakes, your reputation is everything. And when you come in and you haven't even bred anything, and your first thing is, I'm gonna flip these or I'm gonna do this and look at these little balls of money and stuff like that, you're out of there, bro. Like, even some of those snakes, even if they do get old enough and they breed, and these green tree guys want to know lineage on shit, they're like, if that thing isn't from like Bushmaster or somewhere where you can tell for sure where it's coming from, they'll tell you to fuck off. And also, it's like that reputation, man. You can buy imports all day long. There's a couple guys that they don't deal specifically with imports. They also captive bred. Look at, Harlan Wall, Ryan Burke. They deal with imports as well as breeding their own stuff.
Yeah.
But they are trusted because their reputation, and they worked on their name. They worked on their product. They take care of these animals. They take them to the vet. They do everything they're supposed to do.
They display them with purchase.
Exactly. And so you have faith in going to these people who will do right by you. This isn't, I'm not going to call out any folks from the shows and stuff, but a lot of these groups,
any letters with three letters.
A lot of these guys that come in there and post these snakes are pretty much I don't want to say out of the wild, but damn near, and they just put them in a container and sell them.
Yeah.
You spend, let's say you spend $300 on this cool green tree you just picked up at the show. You've done very little research. That $300 snake probably just turned into a $500 snake by the time you take it to the vet, get rid of all the parasites it probably has internally and externally. And, then you hope it lives.
Although, I mean, yeah, they sell a snake without any knowledge given to the person who's buying it, and then that snake dies. So it's not even, that keeper's not even going to stay in green trees anyway, because they're going to have a bad experience. So it's like the people who have lasted in the green tree space have been mostly people who went knowledge first and then bought from these sources.
And I like that.
You're talking about.
And I don't like the fact that some of these snakes die, but I do like the fact that it is a little harder for people to keep, because it chases out the wrong ones. It's like, oh, this snake died. I don't want to deal with this again. This snake is hard to take care of. They're really not. They're pretty bulletproof and easy. I mean, to me, they're easy. But again, I ask a lot of questions. I took time to know people. Bill Stiegel is the main reason why I do what I do when it comes to my green trees, because just being at his house, talking to him all the time and everything, I mean, they just do it for me, and he produces some of the best, and they're some of the best people I've ever met were, snake people, green tree people, things like that. And I don't know, man, I like it that it's hard for some people, because it, like I said, it weeds out the idiots and the people that really don't want to do this for the passion, because they're not that easy. I mean, they're easy, but they're not, you know what I mean? They're once you know what you're doing, they're pretty fucking bulletproof.
It's a catch-22. Like, I like how corn snakes, I'm able to sell them to pretty much anyone, but at the same time, you still have people in it who are the very anthropomorphizing your snake type of people, and very pet oriented and very handling.
I don't even know what that word means. Yeah.
You
just hit me with a big word. I was like, yeah,
putting human qualities on your snake. So it's like saying like, my snake's gonna be unhappy if I don't play with it and shit.
My
like
snake
that.
loves cuddles.
He loves kisses,
chin rubs,
and putting hats
sleeps
on
with
him.
me.
So you get that, because it is a pet market, which I mean I'm fine with, but it gets kind of annoying because it's a snake at the end of the day. But you definitely don't see that in green trees.
Okay, this is going to be a quick thing because I know people who are downloading won't be able to see. But Lilypad, Evan, she wants you to look at your Instagram messages, because she sent you something related to the podcast for right now. Do you have your phone on you?
Right now.
She said, pull it up right now.
Oh God!
Hey, am I about to see some titties?
she's like,
no.
I don't think.
Yeah, your wife is about to be, who the fuck is this lily pad girl?
Hold on.
Someone on Instagram said, although I'm not much into snakes, your conversation is extremely interesting. The snake community seems pretty similar to the gecko community.
Of like all the reptiles in general, maybe it's all small niche, like animal breeding type groups. They're just different things that people are into, and like different yeses and nos, and things not to do, and things people agree with, things people disagree with. And I think in any small community, there's going to be ups and downs with that. And people hate that about the reptile community, about like, I don't know, they're like, everyone's such an asshole and everyone's ready to burn everyone at the stake, which is true. Like, I wish it was a little bit more. It's not very warm if you're a new person coming in with a green tree and you put up a shitty setup. Everyone fucking murders you. What did she say?
Yeah.
Lily Pad's got some skills.
Whoa.
That's funny.
A little editing.
That's funny.
And those are pretty good pictures, like next to each other.
Ice Cube and Shrek after.
And like, she definitely just did that right on
I got the
spot,
black hat and everything.
Today,
like,
yeah.
How did she,
We need to save that picture. I'll make it the cover to the downloadable podcast.
That's awesome.
But Lily Pad's so surprising. Like the other, like
genetics question?
the question last week, just good questions for like Travis Wyman anyway. But like, she wrote like, well, explain a little bit about snakes and how they have vestigial legs. And it's like, I had no idea what vestigial legs were until.
Look, you know me. I I'm gonna be like, yeah. Vestigial mean?
And then Dr. Travis Wyman was like, you know what those are? Those are spurs. And I'm like, oh, you got to talk like a fucking idiot to me to know. Like, you got to.
Sorry, I feel like a third grader.
Stupid
right now.
hobby terms.
Spurs, I wouldn't know. I think like spurs, like the things you put on your shoes.
Yeah, but like if you're into like ball pythons, you know that you have spurs, like horseshoes.
Cowboy boots.
Okay, wait, but you read an article, or you said Dr. I like how you use his full name, by the way. It makes him sound even more important. You only call him Dr. Travis Wyman. Like everyone else, Ice Cube, Evan, he's Dr. Travis Wyman. Every time you say it, you say his full name.
Well, if Evan gets a doctorate,
that's too much school for me.
Dr.
Pepper.
That's good.
There you go.
But you told me he shared an article, and I think it'd be interesting in relation to what you just started talking about.
Now that you're saying that, I kind of so the vestigial legs. Apparently, there's a gene which some smart ass geneticist called Sonic the Hedgehog gene, but it's basically a gene that turns off and on the whatever spurs like. That's a bad word to use in this context, but whatever makes them grow legs. So lizards, this gene is present and they grow legs. In like ball pythons that have small spurs, the gene flickers and it's on for a second. They grow little legs, which are the spurs, and then turns off, and then the gene's gone. And then in development of some other snakes where they don't have any spurs, the gene is never present. It's never turned on. So this Sonic the Hedgehog gene is the exact gene that allows them to grow legs or not. Basically, it's the grow legs gene.
So they all have it, but it just doesn't get turned on inside.
Right. I would hate to say that I know exactly how it fucking works because I would probably be stupid. So
yeah, see,
I'm not gonna
lily
say
pad. That's
exactly.
my question. What about the legless lizard?
Well, I guess they don't have the fucking Sonic the Hedgehog then, guys.
Them bastards are fast though. You ever seen them? They move pretty quick.
Yeah, I don't know. They have eyelids. They have that gene. The eyelid gene. I don't know.
So
well,
you don't know what turns it on.
So it's because it's a thing where people say like, what happened in evolution? Did they evolve to not have legs? How did that happen? What's things that happen? So they say that this gene turned off and this is why they don't have legs. So I don't know about a legless lizard. I don't know how any of that happened.
Or did they fall?
I can't connect those dots really at all. I just read an article. That's pretty much it.
Well, that's what I think said. What makes snakes not have ducking legs?
Ducking legs.
Also, why are legless lizards an ugly ass version of snakes?
Because they still got that lizard face and eyelids without being a snake.
It's still a lizard.
Right.
They got the tongue like a Gila monster and everything. They're pretty cool. I seen one at NRBC for the first time, and I mean it's like a lizard with a head and a tail. I mean that's all there is.
I just feel like it's a snake that like can't hold on good, so I feel like it's just about to fucking bite me. I don't know, because I feel like it would just freak out and be like, I don't trust him.
I'm not a lizard person.
No, it just really ups your game to how much you have to fucking work out and feed and clean.
Yeah, lizards, and then you're feeding every day, every other day, whatever. Snakes are like once a week, sometimes once every 2 to 3 weeks. That's great.
Is it shitty with are the dart frogs easy as far as those like fly cultures?
Yeah, I actually got the stuff ordered and I've been making my own cultures. I made a culture. And you should make them like, I think your cultures, depending on how many frogs you have, should last like up to 2 weeks. And so probably within that first week, I'll start that other culture. And then by the time I'm done with that, in 2 weeks, that other one's been started. So
but do you stem it off of your existing culture?
Yeah, I just take them and dump them in.
So how long can you keep on going down the line?
Keep going.
Really?
Yeah, as long as you have the food for them and the stuff that goes in there,
that
Excelsior.
Yeah.
Excelsior, whatever it's called. As long as that's in there and they can crawl around and you have their food media, they just keep growing.
Really? So yeah, I mean, you're essentially just breeding fruit flies.
Yeah,
as long as you have the media and shit.
Right, I've become a fruit fly breeder. Really, it's the only thing I'm breeding right now. Fucking fruit flies.
Yeah, but I mean, so it doesn't seem that hard. And
no, not at all. It's really keeping your plants healthy and keeping your tanks, moist, wet, whatever.
That's the thing with me. Like, I don't know if you're growing up plants even more so than you're growing up the animals.
Yeah, the frogs pretty much
just
take care
as
of
much.
themselves. It's just, you're dusting your flies, and that's pretty much it. And, I put them on a pretty easy schedule. I feed them every other day, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and then they don't eat during the weekends. And then Monday kicks in, and they're back on their flies.
How do you know how much to put in there?
From what I've read, I don't remember what it said. I just dump a bunch.
You're like, I mean, fucking know.
I don't. It's a 55-gallon tank, and they crawl, so I don't want to put too little to where they can hide in the tank.
Yeah.
So I put a fair amount in there, and they're all disappearing, and my frogs are pretty fucking fat. So I mean,
yeah, I don't know.
Just keep doing what you're doing, frogs.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even know anything about.
Honestly, I probably drop anywhere from 50 to 100 in that 55, and I probably drop about 50 or so in the little 10-gallon.
Every 2 days?
Yeah, every 2 days.
Because you're thinking, I mean, these little, they're like real tiny.
Do they get around your house?
Yeah, they don't fly though. I mean, if they crossbreed, I guess, with fruit flies that are in the house or can be in the house, they can start to fly. But generally, what I've done is if they get out, either I'm in the kitchen doing it or I do it in the living room on the table. If I do it on the table or in the kitchen, regardless, I take a little petri dish and I put like a little slice of apple or something on there and just sit it on the table, and they just go to it, and I just take it and dump it outside. Once they're in the house, I'm not gonna feed those to my frogs because cleaning stuff and chemicals and all that shit, no. So I just dump them, but I don't lose too many. Probably 10 or so get out at a time.
I mean, as long as they don't fly, it's not very hard to keep track of them.
But they suck, man, because sometimes you'll get one on you, and then all of a sudden you just start itching. It's one of the things when you start itching, you can't stop itching, then it just feels like something's constantly crawling on you. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I never really wanted. That would be like the one animal I would get that eats insects. Fruit flies are the only thing I would be able to be all right with. I don't want to do crickets. I mean, of course,
they eat the
mealworms.
springtails. They can eat, once they get some size, you can give them pinhead crickets, things like that. But the fruit flies and the springtails, and some of them even eat the isopods that you put in your tank to clean your tank.
Mm-hmm.
But generally, they pretty much leave them alone because they have a tendency, they don't really like things that are bigger for them to eat. Like if it's bigger than a certain size fruit fly, they're just like, leave me the hell alone, So they're interesting, man. They're so cool and so much personality. Now, granted, there are some, like a lot of your thumbnails, those little tiny ones, they're going to hide more. You won't see them as much unless you really trim your tank up to where you can see them. But some of these frogs are just so bold, like they don't care. And mine, during the day, you might see a couple of them hop around. When it comes to feed time, because I generally feed them about the same time every time around noon, they know. And they start lining up. You see them all lined up around the little petri dish and stuff and sitting on logs looking at me like, you fixing to feed me? So they're cool, man. Y'all have to come over and check them out because I've got my GoPro and I want to do like a little video of them. And, I don't know how to work the GoPro or how to edit all that stuff, but I can't wait to do that because they're so pretty and they're so fun and they're just, I like them, and I tell people, I hope people get into them, just read about them. Just like with anything else, just do a little research. They're not hard to take care of. They're one of the more simple animals, in my opinion, to take care of. And then you don't have to handle them. It's like a fish tank.
once you set them up, you're good.
Oh yeah. And building the tank, man, that's the fun part. I mean, you get in there and start, if you do the fake background with the spray foam and stuff, oh, that shit is so much fun.
Did you get like a starter kit from Josh's Frogs, or what did you use to start?
No, I just had a tank. My buddy Jeff brought me some tanks, and I had a 55-gallon tank, and I looked online about making my own background, and you go get the spray foam, great stuff,
yeah.
And I sprayed that stuff, and then
it's called Great Stuff.
Great Stuff. Well, there's two of them. There's one now that's
a foam insulation.
It's a foam insulation that it dries, and you can carve it. It's like styrofoam, and so you just carve it and do it however you want. Make little ledges, and it's fun. Yeah. And then you silicone it all, and then you put your growing medium. I actually mixed some peat moss and some it's a moss slurry mix that I got from Dart Frog Connection, and I just mixed it together, and then you pack it on and keep it wet, and then your moss starts to grow on the walls. So much fun, man. And I've posted videos and pictures up on Instagram, at Carpet Cartel. Check them out. I'm probably, when I get home, I'm probably going to take some more pictures and maybe upload a video or two, like really good at like the background. And there's a couple builds I did where you can follow the step-by-step of the little 10-gallon I built. That's actually an auction item for Southern Carpet Fest 2018. So.
And you start out with like you do filtration layers and that stuff, or did you?
Yeah, I think the very first time I ever had some frogs was like 2000. I didn't know shit. Like I just took some potting soil and some plants, put them in a big tank. That was it. And then put my frogs in there. And I had all kinds of frogs that do not belong together, just together. Like I didn't know, and at that time in 2000, there wasn't a Facebook or, these kind of groups I can go to ask a lot of questions. It was find a book and read. And I'd seen stuff on TV. So I'm like, okay, I can just get all these cool ass frogs. They'll sound neat at night, put them together. Like I had red-eyed tree frogs in with mantellas, with, an azurus, a painted frog. I just had random stuff together, which is a big no-no. Because apparently a lot of these frogs are just like your snakes. Different frogs need different things. And I'm just like, it's a frog. They can all be together. Yeah, I don't do that. And I didn't know anything about filtration. I didn't know anything about how your tank's supposed to be set up. I just put a bunch of potting soil in the tank, and those frogs died after like 2 months, so I learned, and then when I did it again, it was like way later in life. Here we are like 17 years later and I'm doing it again. I got my gravel down, you put your mesh down, all these different layers. And I should have put charcoal in. I should have got some organic charcoal, crushed charcoal, and put it in. I didn't do that. I'm probably going to do that on my next build. But just doing all these different layers that helps the environment that you're creating inside this tank. And it's just so fun to do, man. I can't even like tell you how much. And I actually posted in one of the Texas dart frog groups the other day about trying to find some people in the DFW area that just want to come over, hang out, and build some tanks together. And I'm just, get in the living room and fuck around. I got a bunch of tanks, we just get in there and build some tanks and have some fun with it. And so waiting for somebody to hit me back.
Someone asked a question on Instagram, but then they got off. I told them that YouTube has better sound, so I hope they move to YouTube. I'm not sure, but they asked you, are your dart frog terrariums bioactive? Yeah,
the bioactive is what is the natural setup. So that's why I would do the drainage layer for the water runoff. If you did just potting soil, something like that, your soil gets wet. It will cause root rot. Your plants will die. Your whole tank will just crash. You have to have a drainage layer. And so it's not like I'm trying to describe it. It's not like a setup where I could put like paper towel, soak it real good, and then put my frogs in there. It's nothing like that. It's an actual living, like I've got my springtails. I seeded it with springtails. I seeded it with isopods, and then live plants, everything. So it's a growing tank.
Cool. Then LilyPad asked, that's not the word. Asked, I still can't say it right. Is it ever possible for the inside of a snake to get injured by the nails of rats? Like the rats
not that I know of.
Could it like scratch?
Have you ever heard of that?
I've heard of like things going in backwards, but it's like if it didn't kill it. If it didn't kill it and swallowed it alive, king snakes are good at not killing something and swallowing it anyway. And I could see that happening. If you swallow something and it's really trying to get out of there and it's digging around, it makes sense.
They're built for.
Yeah, I mean, they are built for
shit.
Yeah, they're built. I mean, they're strong. So I don't know. No, I've seen things where like pythons try to swallow a gator and it bust open because it was too big.
Yeah.
But as far as like scratching, I have no idea.
Yeah, I really don't know. But I mean, happens. They regurge more often than, I don't know, die from whatever.
This doesn't work for me.
Also, not a question, but they were talking about vivariums and everything in the chat. Valiant Faint is talking about getting a boa and everything, and someone asked like, would he build the vivarium? And he said in the UK, you can get a 5-foot vivarium, wood on all sides, for about $140. Is that cheaper than here? Because he was saying they're real cheap.
We have like professional companies over here. There's not much of a market over in the UK in comparison to here. Here, everything's PVC. wood is going to like bow and it's going to absorb some of the moisture and it's going to keep all the bacteria and shit in there.
And I think if you're trying to do like a bio setup with something like a boa, to me it's almost not worth it because you're gonna have to have a pretty big ass enclosure. Almost
it's gonna rip up those plants.
Because any plants you put in there, I mean, they're semi-arboreal, so they're gonna put any plants and stuff in there. They're gonna tear it up.
Yeah,
I mean, you're gonna completely have to keep redoing your tank over and over and over. And to me, that's just it's not worth it. I mean, now if you have like a room, like a full 12 by 12 room, and you could put like a giant logs and trees and shit in there, oh, go for it, because then you've got enough room that snake won't do too much damage. But just trying to do like a little setup. Yeah.
You know?
Ooh, he's in Germany. He said wood terrariums are also cheap there. But I feel like
I mean, Germany is a very popular place though to keep snakes, but they don't have very commercialized companies and stuff like that. The US is just so prone to people starting their own companies and being entrepreneurial.
And I think when you say, I think they're thinking like wooden cages. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be cheaper if I go to Home Depot.
Yeah, I mean, I can go
build one for under $100,
but it's not.
But I can have somebody who knows what they're doing and it look really nice, and I'd spend $200-300. I mean, do I want something that I can throw together? Now, I feel like I'm good like that. You know, my dad is building a house from the ground up, like literally from the ground up by himself. And he's always done construction remodeling. So I kind of picked up a little stuff that I feel like if I want to build an enclosure for a snake, I'm good. I don't think Melissa could build a cage like that. You know, just using her as an example. You know,
yeah, not to say any names, just as an example.
4 years of stagecraft in high school. Thank you very much. I can build shit.
Fucking nerd.
I smell a challenge.
I think that just at this point, like, in order for me to buy the raw material of PVC that I'll need to make racks and cages, you can pretty much buy one cheaper than you can get the raw materials because you're not buying on a commercial level.
It's funny because we were just talking about this the other day. Is I wanted to find a place that had the PVC sheets that I could build my own. I want to build a rack for my yearling green trees. And after looking at some of these prices for this PVC by the sheet, it's cheaper to have somebody build it for me who does this all the time and will make exactly what I want for almost half of what it's going to cost me to build myself.
Yeah.
And because they buy it in bulk, you know, they buy enough of it that they're building a lot of caging.
And they CNC, so there's not as much.
I'm over here trying to build like one cage to where I need like 4 sheets. Each sheet is like $100. Like, you know, $400, I can take it to him and he can build me exactly what I need.
Right.
So,
or you can order from Animal Plastics. I mean, that's going to be your cheapest, but and then
PVC,
at that point,
PVC cages.
At that point, you're going to run into the like, do you want to get it? How soon do you want to get it? There's some companies out there that will get you your shit real quick. There's some that are real slow. So I mean, at the end of the day, you may be paying for speed as far as something like Eric White at TGR Racks. Like you can get your racks, you know, within a week or two. Same with Chris's Sea Serpents. Is this same thing happen that we said was gonna happen?
My butt's over going to sleep. Like, man, I'm sitting here like, damn.
But like, you know, those smaller companies, they're gonna get your rack in like a week or so, and then AP cages.
But you also, I feel like you get what you pay for. I've seen a lot of people where they order it, and the turnaround on them getting their cage from the time they ordered is like you said, like a week and a half, and they put it together and it's already falling apart. It's, you know, real shitty work. Get what you pay for. You know, some of these bigger names, they take so long because so many people are using them. There's so many orders that they have to place, that they have to, you know, finish this product and get it shipped out. So like I said, I don't mind waiting, and I'm pretty smart. If I know I need something, I'm gonna order it months ahead of time. Not, you know, oh crap, I just hatched out all these babies. I need a baby rack tomorrow. Can you make this for me? Knowing it's gonna be at my house in like 3 months. That's, you know, stupid. So you got to be smart about it,
or you just go ambient. That's really where I'm going as far as with colubrids or even green trees. A lot of people like to go ambient and stuff like that, but just so I don't have to run heat tape and light stuff on fire.
Did you say ambient? Are you getting them sleeping pills?
There's a T at the end there. It's just silent.
Just checking.
Cool that we have someone on YouTube from Germany. That like right now we have someone in UK watching in Germany, and he was saying that Germany has is a place for one of the biggest snake keepers. Actually, there's not many more spread, but he said they keep all the extremely rare stuff, and they've imported a lot of rarer species that are in trade right now. And I asked if there's a lot of like strict breeding or selling laws in Germany, and he said no, there's only strict laws for certain species.
Why they have all the rare stuff in Germany is because a lot of the smugglers and stuff in Australia were of German descent or Swiss and stuff like that, and basically all the things were smuggled through German zoos and different thing with bullshit paperwork from Germany. So the reason why they keep the rare stuff and don't have more is because they smuggled a lot of Australian.
You ever try to smuggle a bearded dragon in your underwear?
They eat mealworms.
and they're pokey.
But I mean, they have one of the biggest, shows in the world there. But I mean, the U.S. is just, yeah. They also have Houghton, which I don't know if that's bigger or small. I think it's a little bit smaller, but it's pretty big. But I mean, they have a pretty good hobby over there. But the U.S. is just much further, pretty much, than any other country. Just because we all are money hungry and we have space. In Europe, like they just don't. Space costs a lot more than it does here. As far as, a lot of the guys in the UK and shit, like they don't have the space to keep what we keep. They live in these little apartments and they don't keep all the extraneous bullshit that Americans would keep.
Yeah, I think we kind of keep, especially in Texas. I mean, once you start looking at animal laws, Texas really doesn't give a shit. Like you can own tigers, bears, lions. They don't. Texas is crazy like that. Like people actually own this shit, and you shouldn't. I mean, again, that's especially something like that. I'm not going to tell people what they should and shouldn't keep, but I mean, common sense. Why would you want a fucking lion? I understand if you're like a cat rescue and that's your thing, and you rescue these animals and you're able to house them and feed them consistently because they require a lot of food. But if you're that moron that's like, I got a bunch of money come in, I'm gonna go get me a pet tiger, you're a fucking idiot. Because it's people like you that are why the rest of us can't have nice things. It's people like that. What was it, a couple months ago in Conroe out near Houston? There's a fucking tiger walking down the fucking highway on the shoulder, just walking a tiger walking down the highway. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, I mean, seriously, like a tiger walking down the highway. Could you imagine sitting in your car, leaving work, and you're just sitting there listening to the radio, and you look over, and this big ass tiger is like just
I'm
cruising
definitely
past
for
you.
everyone keeping whatever they want to keep, but
Within reason.
Within reason, and should probably have people like checking, especially if it's something like a tiger, that you have proper caging and stuff like that.
You should. It's almost background checks. Like, I mean, same as a gun to me.
Yeah.
I think everybody should be allowed to have guns within reason. I think everybody has a right to protect themselves, but some of these people should not own guns because they're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
They don't take care. Well, it's same thing with these animals. It's the same exact thing. If you're mentally unfit to handle a gun, there's no way you should own a tiger, because now you've not only endangered yourself, but the community if that cat escapes.
I think if
you don't exactly, guns don't kill people. You know what I'm saying? People kill people. That tiger kills people. It gets out, it's gonna maul somebody.
I think if you want a tiger, you're mentally unstable. The guy from Germany, he said that everyone there is very strict about keeping their reptiles as natural as possible. Every ball python should be kept in a 6-foot terrarium if it would go by German rules.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, I guess they make the rules so that you can't commercialize them in a way. I guess the reason why we're able to commercialize the reptile business is because we keep them in tubs and all this bullshit.
And in the wild, I mean, you can give them 6 feet in this big cage, but how much of that are they going to use? If you actually do it like they do in the wild, you probably need a good 2 feet of dirt in there with a big hole in it. And then he's going to go down in that hole, curl up, and you're not going to see him. Like, that's what they do in the wild. So why would you give him 6 feet? I mean, to me, why would you give him 6 feet if he's not going to use it? I'm not against keeping snakes in tubs. I don't think all snakes belong in tubs. You know, I don't think retics go in tubs. Now, display caging, you know, like the big cages, the JPM cages, stuff like that, I think those are okay. Those are good. But like an actual rack system, I don't think at a certain size, they don't need to be in those. But there's people, you know, that have had adult Burmese pythons and adult retics and monitors and all kinds of shit that does not belong in a rack system. Bar check. But I'm just saying, you know, it really was, but I just threw that in there. But I mean, he does that. You look at his videos and he feels like there's nothing wrong with it. You know, whatever.
Things survive.
It's alive, so it's good, you know.
He said that they don't use no newspaper, no mealworms, like none of that stuff. He said they're not actual rules, which I understand. It's just the community, like the reptile community has made it this way. The guy said he's more on the American side.
Why not? What's wrong with the using the newspaper? Just out of curiosity, like printed newspaper.
It's not natural. It's not naturally a thing.
I don't know. For whatever reason, we try to be as sterile as possible with these animals that clearly aren't sterile to begin with, like that obviously live in the wild. And I do it probably more than other people. But I don't know why. I don't know why we tend to go sterile with all these animals, but
I think it's to us it just seems like the cleaner we keep them, the less they have a tendency to get something
sick or something.
But then I kind of feel like it's like with kids. I'm all for my kid going outside, getting muddy as shit, and being exposed to certain types of bacteria and stuff like that, because that'll keep them from getting sick. They have to have some exposure to certain bacteria. You can't just constantly keep a kid clean because you're scared of bacteria, because then they get sick a lot and easily. And I think it's the same thing with snakes, you know, to an extent. I'm not saying let them shit on the cage and you leave it like that for months, you know, not at all. But they got to have exposure to bacteria. I mean, I feel like that. If it's okay for people, it should be okay for snakes.
Yeah, I just like to think I have control over everything. So, I mean, for me, it's like if they get sick, though, I mean, I find that that's pretty much the end of it in captivity, at least from my perspective. I mean, there's just not much coming back from like an RI that we don't know what it is. Once I treat them, I feel like that snake is tainted and they get sick again and stuff like that. So
I think it's if you have a good vet that knows what they're doing. But again, with snakes, it's a little
not
bit
many of those.
Yeah, and with snakes, it's a little bit more difficult because with a dog or something, they get sick, you see it. With people, they get sick, you see it. A snake can hide that. You know what I'm saying? Like you may not know your snake can have an RI for 6 months and you don't even notice. You know, there's not a lot of wheezing, and then all of a sudden, when it does show these serious signs of RI, oh, it's too late. Like he's so far gone into it, but it's not like, hey, you know, I'm sick, take care of me, unless you were just so completely in tune with that animal. But even then,
we basically have one symptom for anything that could ever go wrong in a snake, and that's RI. You know, that's like the wheezing or the bubbling from the mouth, or, you know, other than that, I mean, there's scale rot that you can obviously see, but other than that, you're like, either an RI or nothing, or mouth rot or scale rot or something. So it's like there's definitely other things that we just are stupid, we don't know about. But yeah, I don't know if I would keep. I mean, ball pythons, it's just hard to feed them when they're in things that are too big, unless you put so many hiding spaces in there and everything. They're just real pain in the ass to get feeding.
Also, just who has the space for all that?
Yeah, I mean,
that's what they're talking about.
We're just trying to be most efficient.
For imagine, you know, having 10 ball pythons. Like, what are you supposed to do with that? With all the
square feet?
Like, that's insane.
But I wonder if over there, if their ball python community or whatever is like it is here, to where there's almost, I don't want to say trash snakes, but you have all these heads and stuff that nobody wants anymore and uses them for feeders because there's just so many. And it seems like if you're keeping them so natural like that, that people aren't overbreeding. There's just not a huge surplus of these ball pythons. You know, that's what I wonder is if
I'm thinking there's not. Or he was saying it's like it's easier to just keep 3 rarer snakes than try to hold a bunch of ball pythons. He said there's not a lot of morphs, so maybe. I mean, he can definitely answer. And
they just don't give a fuck. It's just a different mentality that way that they keep.
Right. And I asked him if there are a lot of reptile shows, which I know we've talked about some of the 2 biggest ones, but he said not in his region. But the whole community basically meets at the biggest reptile expo. I don't even know how you say that. Terroristica. I've never heard of that one. I've heard of like ham and the one you said, but I've never heard of that one.
And I think it's ham.
Oh, it's ham. I always thought it was ham.
American, so
Hamburg, ham. I don't know.
Yeah.
I definitely thought
ham because we like pork.
Ham, Germany.
Yeah, maybe that is that the Terroristica, is that in ham? I don't know. Ask him. Yep, he said it is the one.
Oh, okay.
Is it ham or ham or I don't know.
Which one?
Phonetically. Oh, so the RSPCA in England uploaded a video on how you should take care of a ball python, and they said it should be kept in a 4-foot enclosure with a UVB light and at least 80% humidity. That's interesting.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
I'm no ball python expert, but I mean,
and I've heard I don't know about the light, but I've heard that ball pythons require more humidity than what people think. They're like,
oh yeah,
it's African, so it must just be really hot and really dry. And so you'll see a tank set up, and a lot of these people that sell them to like nobodies, that's what the hell they sell them. You know, you pitch it with,
people just don't give a shit.
Put a heat lamp on it, and it just needs like a hide spot and some water. And it's like, no, your snake's probably not going to do too well.
They don't understand microclimate is just as important as the climate they're in, or more so, because good crack in my voice, but because in a termite mound, you're going to have such high humidity underground and stuff like that. It has nothing to do with the outside climate.
Drink that.
Yeah, you got to drink.
That's
the
a party
foam
foul.
off the top.
Come on, man.
Jesus Christ. She opens a beer.
She's cut off.
Fucking foams, and she just lets it go on the ground like a fucking freshman. I don't know, man. But I just think that you got to pay attention also to the microclimate that things are in. So, I mean, just because it's in a certain climate doesn't mean that where it lives. As far as a green tree python, you know, what they're going to experience in a tree is much different than the animals in the same place are going to experience in the leaf litter and stuff like that. I mean, it's just going to be a different experience for whatever reason. I mean, I guess green trees are always in the shade. That's why they don't, you know, if they get over 83 degrees, you know, they may have problems. Maybe it's because, you know, they're always in cooler, darker spots in comparison to something that may sun out.
Somebody said something about that one the other day, and they were talking about them, and they said when you think about it, green trees are technically they're up in the canopy, so they're getting more light and more sunlight than what I guess people really think, because they're up in the top part. You know what I'm saying? The leaves or middle part, however you want to look at it, they're not like up at the very top out, you know, where it's just complete sunlight, but they're not at the bottom either where it's just so dark. They're in that middle area where they're still catching sunlight, and they're still, you know what I mean, they're still getting that UVB light or UVA, whichever it is.
Also, we were seeing those pictures that Daniel Matouche was posting where they were taking giant meals, which in captivity, that's pretty much a death sentence, or at least you're going to have a prolapse. But I mean, there's probably just a disconnect with how we're keeping where our animals aren't acting exactly how an animal is in the wild.
Yeah, I think I know which poster you're talking about. There was a guy, some random dude. He's like, "Oh, my snake
from a different country."
Yeah,
though,
he was like, "My snake took this huge meal, and it was like this giant rat." And instantly, we're all like, "Dude, what the fuck?" Like,
everyone was down his throat in about 5 minutes.
Daniel Matouche came in and was saying, you know, in the wild they do take bigger meals like that.
Hey, you smart asses.
And it was funny because this one guy actually went in there and was arguing with Daniel, and he was like, posted this research that was written, and somebody came in and was like, yeah, Daniel wrote that. And the guy was like, oh. So she was so funny. But
like, you got to do some Googling sometimes or some comments. I don't know what can stop you. Like, if you know anything about chondros, you've heard his name and that you don't argue with certain things, because no one knows more about green trees at this point, at least scientifically. you know, there's a lot of people who may know about them in the wild. Like if Rico was still alive, you know, in a captive situation, he probably knows more than anyone. But Daniel Touche might be one of the only people who are studying them in the wild at this point that we have access to.
I think I want to say Ari might have been doing something with the green trees. I know he does the Bolins, and you know he's over there all the time. Like he does the Bolin stuff for real. And I think I've asked him at a show, like, have you ever studied any of the green trees there, because you're in the same area, you know? So I'm wondering if, you know, and at the time I don't think he had.
Well, I don't think that I think Bolins are at elevation, and the
higher
green
elevation.
trees aren't.
But when I say same area, I was meaning
country.
Same country.
They're there. It's just you're gonna be looking at totally different habitats within that area.
Definitely.
But I mean, it's so interesting. Those Bolins are at high elevation and probably cooler than we would expect pythons to be.
And there's a now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, there's a on dart frogs, it's a documentary they're doing. I shared it on Facebook if y'all seen it, and it's so badass. Like the documentary, the way it starts, the filming, you know, just the actual filming of it and how everything looks. And in my head, I'm like, why is there no documentaries like that on like green trees or bulls? Like we need some crews to go out there and make some just awesome documentaries on. It doesn't even have to be tropical snakes. I mean, I just like to see some decent, informative information, you know, real information, not Animal Planet information on some snakes. And
all I see is like those setups, because I feel like a lot of the reptile stuff takes way too long. Like I've seen some recent like hunting footage and stuff. There was some like Animal Planet or Discovery thing that was on Netflix. And it's like you can tell that they set up like a harvest mouse in a little maze with a snake that's in the same one, but they like made it look real, but it was obviously a setup. I mean, it's just, I think it's hard to capture.
And it's frustrating too, especially like Animal Planet. It's Animal Planet. And I've seen them have people on there where they're talking about their Burmese python, their pet Burmese python they have, and they're sitting here holding a ball python. And I'm just like, you're Animal Planet. Like,
well, no, on the cover of, I think it was like Nat Geo or something, like a year or two ago, I came across it in the grocery store, and it was like Burmese python, the beast of the Everglades or something. And on the cover, it was a ball python.
Yeah. And it's just like,
fucking Google or something. I don't know. You can do anything better than this. Like, where'd you get this photo from? Like, how are regular people are going to believe you're, you know, whatever you're saying because you're Nat Geo, but at the end of the day, we know that you're horse shit because you can't even get the picture right.
And it's like, I don't know,
but it's hard to combat any of that stuff. I mean, at
we
this point,
we already had a conversation earlier about Burmese pythons in the Everglades,
and that's like that's like the first thing people bring up all the time. Like, it's been so well documented that like little kids will tell you all about it, and it's like, fuck, man, like they really got to everyone. We're pretty fucked. It's hard to go against all the damage that's already been done. What is?
Read it.
Oh yeah, he said they also get poison and venom mixed up a lot in those documentaries.
So true,
which is true. But I mean, if you hear like Brian Greg Fry talk about it, he'll sometimes call it poison because there's some, I don't know, for some reason you're able to call it poison sometimes. I think technically it is. You can use it interchangeably. If Brian Greg Fry did it,
after a certain amount of time, I guess it does become, it's the same thing. When you say a poison snake, we know what you mean.
Yeah.
But there's that herper in a lot of us that know reptiles, and we just can't help it. It's almost like the same with dogs. You see a lot of people like, oh, I love my pit bull, and it's like, that's a Staffordshire Terrier, you know. And then some people don't know the difference. They think this is a pit bull, that's a pit bull, that's a pit bull, that's an American bulldog, that's a pit bull, that's a Staffordshire Terrier. But to, you know, they all think it's the same dog.
But I mean, at the end of the day, does it really matter to most people? I mean,
really, we
just like to call bullshit on a lot of things. So it's like, that's just another thing where we can shit on someone.
Yeah, but I think it's just, to me, it's more, call it what it is. If it's right, it's right. If it's wrong, it's wrong. You know, I think it is a part of us does want to be a little bit assholes and correct somebody, but then there's also that part is that's not what it is. So call it what it is. You know, it's just a little education. But it's always funny to me the snake people that jump on someone when they're like, "Oh, this poison snake, it's venomous. There are no poisonous snakes." Well, then apparently you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, because there are poisonous snakes. You know, there's not a lot of them, but the keelbacks, and they've actually, I think they've said, your garters, like the North American garter snakes, are considered.
Well, Brian Greg Fry
poisonous.
believes that every snake is venomous, just like every spider is venomous. It's just like something like garters have very small rear fangs, or, you know, maybe the delivery systems are different, but he believes, and he's the foremost expert on venom in the world.
But would it be poison or would it be bacteria? Because I've taken bites from Burmese pythons, retics. It's just a bite. I've taken 2 pretty good bites from green anacondas, and both times my hand swelled up, got all black. I mean, it was purple and black. It looked like somebody punched me, and it bled forever. Like,
well, I think that also matters on the location. So, like, I had a ball python bite that was in the right location.
Well, I mean, I get that, but
collapsed the vein.
I mean, it completely
terrible.
Like both times. One of them was in my arm, one of them was in the palm of my hand. The one in my hand swelled up. The one that bit me here, my arm swelled up. Like, I had a reaction to it. Not like I need to go to the ER or nothing, but I had a mild reaction to it. And so I think, you know, anaconda mouths just seem to be nasty. For some reason, anacondas have nasty fucking mouths. And, you know, of course, that's not all snakes. Like I said, I've had burn bites and didn't do shit.
Yeah.
It just made me bleed. And I know people have different reactions. We were just talking about the hog noses earlier, because somebody posted a picture of a hog nose bite, and they look like they got bit by a rattlesnake. Like, their hand and arm all swelled up.
But it's so cool, like the way the hog nose eat. You have to like hand feed them, and they're like half stupid. So you have to like put it in their mouth, and they eat it really quick. But you can see like their rear fangs and stuff like that. Like. But I mean, I think for most people, that's pretty much like a bee sting. But I mean, just like a bee sting, there's different reactions to them.
That's what I said. I mean, some people, you know, I think if you ask most people about being allergic to certain things, are you allergic to poison ivy? Most people are like, yeah, I'm not. I go outside, I can roll around in that shit, I can wipe my ass with it. Nothing's going to happen. But then you got people that get within 3 feet of it, and they instantly, you know, they're scratching and itching. And you start to see them welt up and stuff, and it's just.
Or you have these people that also that extract venom and stuff, and they tend to get more tend to get more sensitive towards venom for whatever reason. Or people who have leopard geckos actually get really sensitive to the dust and stuff that mealworms give off. Like, like a lot of the big leopard gecko breeders eventually become allergic to mealworms. So I don't know what it is, when you get exposed to a certain level of toxins, you slowly get more and more sensitive to it. Even if it's just, you know, feeling like the venom on your skin rather than being injected. For some reason, that may eat away at your tolerance to these things.
That's wild. But if you inject it, you can build up a tolerance. You see that dude? There's a dude on YouTube. Did you see that dude that was getting bit by the taipan and the black mamba?
And the mamba?
Jesus.
I mean, that's just there's just no solid evidence to say that that's a good idea. I mean, obviously it's working to some degree, but I wouldn't say it's a good idea.
I know Bill Haas. He used to.
Yeah,
I think he.
Lived
I don't
think.
Man. I don't know if he's. I know he's self-injected, but I don't know if he did straight venom. You know, I'm sure he probably diluted it with something.
Yeah, and he would put different like hemotoxins and.
But that dude was just like, let it bite me, and I'm just like, bro, what are you doing? You're gonna die in like 5 minutes. And I mean, he didn't, but
there may be something to it. And I mean, Bill Haas lived for 100 years, and they say he used his blood as anti-venom. Which, I mean, at the end of the day, what if the person wasn't gonna die anyway? I mean, was it his blood that was the anti-venom, or was the person just not destined to die in the first place? You see a lot of these people in like the jungle and stuff where they die from snake bite pretty much just because they resort to these like voodoo medicines and, you know, local witch doctors and stuff that, you know, may make it worse or make it, you know, not a
just rub some chicken blood on
put
it,
some bacteria on it, yeah,
you'll be all right.
And then they get an infection and die or something,
right?
Yeah, there's just a bunch of different things. I don't know. I mean, there's a bunch of people that do it. They definitely look different.
We blew some smoke on it. We don't know why he died.
I mean, these people like apparently have a lot of energy, and like they kind of have like that glazed look over their eyes, like they look all bright and shit. I don't know.
And of course, some of it too is, you know, they don't have the technology and the doctors and that the ability to even get to a hospital the way we do. If something happens, we hit a cell phone, call somebody, they'll send care flight, and we can get to a hospital within 15, 20 minutes. There, you're out in the middle of the jungle. They don't have cell phones. They don't have none of that shit. And who posted it? There was a picture of a bite, and it looked like I think it was a bushmaster, and it bit him in the leg, and the deterioration is just crazy. Like it's just gone. They end up having to amputate, but I mean, those bites are no joke. Even he got to the hospital, it didn't matter. Like you still got to amputate his leg because that venom just ate his leg up. Like it's crazy. I couldn't imagine. I mean, as much as I love snakes, I think if I lost a limb to a snake, I'd probably be fucking done with them. I say that, but you never know.
I watched what is it, the Venom Diaries or the Venom something? But the guy who made it, he
I thought you were fixing to say Venom Hunters. No, I thought you were going to say Venom Hunters.
It's called the.
Please don't tell me that shit.
It's called the Venom Interviews. Not the Venom Diaries.
I've been wanting to see that. Is it good?
But the guy who made it, he actually just got all of his stuff stolen out of his place in Costa Rica. So I think he put the DVD on sale. So if you go and buy it, it'll go towards him recouping all the shit that they stole in Costa Rica. But I know in there they said, how they usually do that, what do they call that when they fasciotomy, where they cut you in order to release the swelling? They say that that's pretty much bullshit. If your doctor says do a fasciotomy, tell them no, that does not help anything. So,
because I think they say that you're swelling so much that it's going to explode,
right?
And I've never seen anybody swell so much that they exploded. I just see you cut this giant gash in his.
I saw Willy Wonka and that blueberry girl. She just rolled. She didn't explode for shit. But I mean, they say that just that's just going to permanently disfigure you. If you're going to lose the limb, I think you're going to lose the limb, but.
I mean, Instagram down.
But don't do the fucking fasciotomy. But I think just like they were kind of explaining how most doctors aren't equipped to deal with snake bites. But I mean, we don't see many terrible snake bites. Like here in Texas, there's venomous snakes, but your chance of getting bit by one are pretty slim unless you fuck with them. And then, I mean, things like crowfab are very effective on Western Diamondbacks, that kind of stuff.
We can talk about people getting bit.
I mean, I don't want to throw.
I will. There's a fucking moron. No.
Oh, you mean that guy? Yeah. I don't care about that guy.
There's him in there. And I've seen so many people in a lot of those snake ID groups and stuff like that. Like, you have all these people that just kill them, and it's like, man, do you know how many more people end up in the hospital and trying to kill it? Just leave it alone. And they're like, I'm protecting my family, blah blah blah, and I don't even like them. And all right, redneck, when you get bit by that snake and you get in that hospital and you receive that bill, I bet you never kill another snake again. Because I promise you, when you get a $250,000 doctor bill for a snake bite because you decided to take matters in your own hand and chop its head off, and then you want to pick up the head to show your buddy, and the snake turn around and bit you or whatever happened, you won't kill it. Why? You'd be scared to death to touch another snake because $250,000 hurts. And that what is it, the crowfab?
Yeah,
that shit's not cheap.
It's like $2,000 a vial, I think.
And then you generally get what?
You need at least 10 of them.
Yeah, 10 vials at $2,000 a piece, and then you add in the time the doctors did, the X-rays, this, that, anything they do. Come on, it's just not
the amputation.
Whew.
Okay, I have a question. We talked about this a little bit before the podcast, but I wanted to ask it on here to see what everyone else thinks and to get y'all's opinion about it again, even though Joe's looking at me like he doesn't want me to bring it up.
I don't know what you're talking about.
She's talking about the kids
babies
being scared of the
So there's
spiders.
There's this study. I don't know who did the study, but the article is by the New York Times, and it was saying that we are inherently afraid of hot bird, babe. Great job. Okay.
Interrupt the show.
We are inherently, I bet you they could have heard your burp. We are inherently afraid of snakes and spiders. In the study, they took like 32 babies and they analyzed their like pupil dilate, like their pupil size and maybe heart rate. I don't remember. They showed them pictures of like flowers and fish, and then showed them pictures of snakes and spiders. And almost everyone, there was a reaction. Now, obvious
reaction to the flowers and fucking
negative reaction. Now, obviously, there's some flaws in this, like, but I just wanted to see y'all's opinion and our listeners' opinions on if they think we are inherently afraid of snakes or are we taught to be afraid of snakes.
I think that we are inherently afraid of snakes, and Evan thinks the other way. I think we're inherently afraid of snakes because if you go herping and you see a snake, you have this weird like flight reaction, like this fight or flight reaction where it's like you fight it and then it's just pure excitement. Like you get this jolt through your body, like that is just like I see it and I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like you're kind of built in, just like, you know, a horse is afraid of snakes. And I feel like you are naturally afraid of snakes just over years and years of people avoiding snakes. But it's obviously past a certain age, a learned behavior. And Evan disagrees.
Oh, no, I disagree completely. I've said that, you know, I think how many of those kids that they did this study on belong to parents who were afraid of these animals?
But can you
how many of
imprint
these,
a young infant?
I believe so. How many of these kids, if you take 32 kids and you show them these pictures and their parents are scared of this snakes and spiders, how many of those kids are going to turn out to be scared of the snakes and spiders? Now take the same amount of kids from parents that own reptiles, snakes, spiders, whatever. Show those kids those pictures. How are those kids going to react at the same age? I think you're going to get a different reaction, which then kind of dismisses everything because then it's a learned behavior. It's not, I don't think it's something we're born with. I think it's a learned behavior. And I think like a lot of people's fears of snakes to me are irrational. And I've said it before and a lot of people disagree with me, but I've said, you know, I think a lot of people's fears on snakes are based on the Bible. The Bible used a snake as, you know, the devil or whatever. And it puts a bad light on snakes because then you associate the serpent, a snake, as something evil, as something bad. Had they used what I said earlier, had they used a cat, cats are crazy looking. Like they stare at you kind of funny and they like to kill for the fun of it. Let's say, I mean, seriously. But what I'm saying is if the Bible had used a cat, people would be scared of cats. You know what I'm saying? And so they used a snake. People are scared of snakes. And then they grow up with that. I see a lot of people that are scared of snakes.
Well, babies are born with sin. And if they die before you christen them,
that's if you believe all that bullshit.
They're fucking little demons. They're little fucking demons.
No, but
little
I mean,
demon babies.
I think if you, I've asked several people that are scared. Like my mom is definitely scared of snakes. And I've asked her, you know, where did you have an interaction with a snake that made you scared of them? She never really had any interactions.
Snakes are the devil, Bobby.
She's scared of them, you know. She's just scared of them. And so it's like, why? You know what? You've never had an interaction with one, so why would you be scared of something? And I used to work at a pet store and had a big boa out, and the kids all wanted to touch the boa. All the kids were surrounding me, just want to play with the boa. A mom comes up from behind me and freaks the hell out. And oh my God, no! Oh, I'm scared of those. And grabs her kid and is like, "Get back, get back!" And instantly, I forgot where I was. I forgot I was at work. And so, you know, knowing me, I turned around. I was like, bitch. No, I didn't call her a bitch.
What
but
did you do?
I was just like, what the fuck? You know, and
just as bad.
Number one, I forgot there's a bunch of kids around me, you know, and I forgot I'm at work. But I was like, what the fuck? And she's like, I'm scared of snakes. I was like, okay, but why are you freaking everybody else out? Nobody was scared of this snake until you walked over here freaking out. Now her kid was scared to touch the snake in a matter of seconds. Went from I want to touch the snake to no, something's wrong, it's bad, and didn't want nothing to do with the snake. All because of the mom's reaction. Kids are not born with an inherent fear to be scared of shit. My kid will jump off the roof of the house and she's 1.5. She's nuts. They're not scared of shit. They're just
I
not,
think there's
you know.
also there's just some of those kids that are naturally scared of shit.
I think,
don't give a fuck.
yeah, and I think that I agree with. I think if you're naturally scared of everything, then you can't group a single thing into it and be like, well, they're scared of snakes or they're scared of this. Yeah.
Well,
You just
that's
shadows and clowns and weird fucking shit. Like, why are people scared of clowns? Oh, because they saw it or they saw some crazy ass movie that, why are you scared of a clown? I'm not scared of a clown, but some people my wife is terrified.
no. I have something to say.
Well,
about
because
the
like
study. No!
clowns were all cool, and then you had like Gacy who came out, who was a serial killer clown. Then all of a sudden you open this gate to where clowns aren't like fun for clowns are supposed to be for little kids' birthday parties and shit.
Scary.
And then who Gacy is. He was like a serial killer, but he was a clown. And like it opened this door to where the horror movies and stuff made evil clowns and shit like that, which is like awesome. I think the whole kid clown serial killer thing is like badass.
And it kind of
it's scary as fuck.
And just like you were saying, you take something that one situation was bad, and now everything is bad from here on out because of that. Snakes the same way. Look at the movie Jaws.
Yeah.
People were not terrified to go swimming and go to the ocean. They weren't thinking about sharks. Jaws came out and it completely turned people around on sharks, and where now they're just, let's kill them all when we see them. And it's like, you're fucking the ocean up doing that. Like, leave them alone. They're not out to kill us and eat us. There are some sharks that will eat people, but at the end of the day, you're in their house.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is, but
okay, I'm going to say my point. I don't remember the age of the babies, but from like a child development standpoint, I don't think the babies are developed enough to know what a snake is. If you're just showing them the picture, you could show them a picture of someone like laughing and they might get scared of that. Like, it's not, they can't know what a snake or a spider is at that point. Like, and honestly, if there was a real snake, half the kids or babies would try to eat it, because babies eat everything. They just want to put everything in their mouth. And
I agree to an extent.
And so I just don't know if you can really say, like, because it's a snake, like, their mind isn't there enough to have a concrete idea of what a snake is.
Well, that would be the argument that it's innate. So they don't know what a snake is, but they're still scared of it. So it's imprinted in them from birth.
But you could also show in someone's face and they'd be scared. Like, there's some babies, when a person walks in the room, they start crying. And then you got to
think about what kind of pictures of snakes and spiders are they showing? Are they showing like cartoon animation snakes where the snake's got his mouth all open looking like he's fixing to kill you?
How smart are these fucking babies? What's the IQ of these little
Or is it just like a normal picture of a snake? Like my child she's 1.5. And I don't think she knows exactly what a snake is, but she has an idea. Like, she'll go in the snake room and she kind of knows. Okay, she can't say, "Oh, that's a snake, Dad." You know what I'm saying? But she knows it's a snake.
That's a biak. Don't grab it.
Right? That motherfucker's gonna bite you. But she doesn't know the difference between good snake and what can kill you snake. You know what I mean? There's that. For that level of education isn't there.
It's also a level of, you give her the green light. Snakes are cool, so she's like, snakes are cool.
Yeah.
Pretty much, they trust you.
Which to me is more learned behavior. She's never been scared of them because she's never been exposed to them, that they would have been showed pictures where it's trying to kill her. From the time she was little, as soon as she was born, it's like she had a stuffed snake. She's had snakes. So I don't think it has anything to do with fear. I think it's learned. To me, it's learned. I mean, I could be wrong. I just feel like it's learned.
The guy, Paul from Germany, kind of agreed with you, Joe. He said that the picture of a snake could be genetically imprinted into the baby's brain due to evolution. Oh, no.
But I mean, then you go to, do Irish people not care because Irish people evolved in a place that has 0 snakes? So do I like snakes because I'm Irish? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if that's also would hit a snafu, maybe like, the Native Americans, they mostly encountered snakes. So they would obviously be genetically maybe predisposed to not encounter snakes. But like, what about other areas where snakes don't exist? Does an Eskimo even know what a snake is? Like, I don't know. There's some places where snakes don't exist.
I mean, they're not like the lost tribe of Eskimos or nothing, but I think they know what snakes are. They just don't.
Well,
have
no, I'm
interaction
saying
with
like if you had someone who was untouched, if you
Right.
if you found a little baby Eskimo.
Like, where do you find Eskimos in Texas?
Well, no, if you found one in their natural environment, you know, Canada. I'm just kidding.
I don't know. I guess that kind of makes sense, like you were saying about Ireland. Like, there's no snakes in Ireland,
Yeah.
so what's there to be
Well,
scared of? So, are these people scared of
It's
snakes?
because
when they come
St.
across them?
Patrick drove them all out. And, you know,
Sure.
Noah only had so many on his ark. And, you know, the apple, and there's this guy, Adam and Eve, and all the humans came from them. So everyone's inbred. So don't inbreed your snakes because they'll get things. But, you know, I don't know how we made it.
I just have a
I don't
question.
know.
I mean, we're going to talk about religion. I have a little. I just have a question. I just have one question.
We're not going to talk about religion.
How come in all the pictures I see of Adam and Eve, they have belly buttons? I just want to know.
Because we were born. Oh no, but they didn't have. Okay.
Because God made belly buttons, you fucking idiot. Duh.
No, belly buttons where your umbilical cord was.
No, God made those.
Okay.
God made everything. God has a fucking.
No,
plan
I'm just
for
messing
you.
around. I won't even.
I
won't play around with
Wait,
religion.
wait. Can I explain the
Some of y'all are
funniest
sensitive
thing
about religion.
at NERBC across from the snake show?
A Scientologist. Oh, you're really fucking crazy.
Across from NERBC Arlington, there was a like religion expo or something. So where Ryan is in a wheelchair, and I forget who's pushing him. Some guy's pushing him, and I'm walking with him. And we thought that the US Ark auction was over in this place that was actually a religion expo. And these people were being so nice to us. We're like, "Is this the auction?" They're like, "Well, you know, this isn't the auction, but we'll sure take you." And then Ryan in the wheelchair with his leg up, you know, bandaged. He's like, "Hail Satan," and then just turns around and fucking wheel away. I was just like, this is the most savage thing of all time.
I wasn't there for that. I
Not
missed that.
not very religious. I mean, for all the things to be across from a snake show, if there can't be people who probably disagree more. I mean, I know plenty of religious snake people, but
That's pretty funny. Pretty funny.
I said it in the chat, but for anyone who listens in the downloads, I want to apologize for you two in case anyone's offended.
Man, hey, fuck your feelings. If you don't like it, tough shit. I got an ass you can kiss.
No.
I ain't worried about your
The
feelings.
religious
If you a
beliefs.
sensitive snowflake and the shit I say hurts your feelings, suck some nuts. Suck a fat baby's balls, you sensitive bitch.
fuck your sci-fi book.
I'm just kidding. I should. I've been pretty good about not cussing, but you know,
Just hashtag science.
hashtag kiss my ass, cry baby. sensitive, sensitive motherfuckers.
Damn.
Oh, that's what's up.
Rescue's gonna roll up his shoe and drive. Whoa.
Yeah, there's no.
No, it ain't that. It ain't
Italian
that crazy.
Faith said sucking
I'm not
nuts.
that crunk. I'm good.
Oh man, I hope. I mean, there's not like some young people listen to us on YouTube and stuff, but I mean, otherwise, everyone else.
Man, their parents cuss them out. They listen
Yeah.
to Eminem. They all right.
You know, Eminem. I think that's off a generation or two.
Yeah, whatever.
You guys listen to Post Malone or Lil Yachty or whatever. the
You got
fuck
me
you
because
listen
I
to.
fuck
They were
that
just talking about
trash.
some like one-line chatting thing, and I know
Hashtag baby balls. I don't know. Like,
I said suck a fat baby's balls.
I think I missed that. I just tuned that out.
Wait, it said, remember Ice Cube taught us how to do drive-bys last time he was here?
book.
I
I don't either. What the fuck did I say to
I
my
don't
drive-bys?
Who
Lily
knows?
had said she's gonna make a mixtape of all the podcast stuff you said and put it
Oh,
together.
you don't even want to. When I start dropping words like I call people fuck knuckles and
Oh my god.
fuck tards and all kinds of shit, man. If you ever see me on Facebook getting mad at somebody, I come up with some crazy words.
What has made you the most mad on Facebook?
Honestly, I don't like the people that are just so against snakes, but talk about okay. There's a video of the girl sitting on the couch with her retig, and all the dumb fucks that have no snake education and don't even bother to educate themselves are like, that snake is yawning, it's gonna size her up to eat her. Look it up and blah blah, and just the dumb shit they talk.
I just saw that article shared
Jesus.
recently about the snake.
Jesus.
A girl went to her doctor and her snake was her vet said it was sizing her up to eat her. And the sad thing is that a vet probably said that, and that vet is probably just a fucking dumb fucking vet.
It's just irritating. And then to see stuff like that, but then these same people who talk about how dangerous that is and CPS should be called on the parents for allowing this, you're over there taking family pictures with the dog, and dogs and horses kill more people than snakes. So, you know what I'm saying? Why would you call CPS on somebody for something like that? Like, that's so stupid. That snake is not, I mean, with supervision, I'm not saying the snake can't hurt the girl. I'm just saying
the silly thing
there's
is
more of a chance of the family dog mauling that little girl to death than the family python killing that little girl. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Or you see that post up recently that someone posted, they opened their dresser drawer and a group of copperheads attacked them. A breeding copperheads attacked him. It was like scratches down his arm. Scratches, like clearly not from a snake. And it must have been some type of cover-up story for some type of domestic violence.
Oh boy, was fucking around on the side. Yeah. Oh girl, the side chick was getting it good, and she scratched his ass up. So he's like, fuck, what can I tell my wife now that I got these scratches? I know, baby, I opened this drawer, some copperheads attacked me. What the fuck?
And there was zero swelling, just a bunch of scratches. And the thing is that the news picked it up and was acting like a group of copperheads attacked him. Because obviously they were taking their fangs and raking it up and down his arm.
They used
like copperheads.
They used their leg spurs,
their vestigial legs. They didn't have that Sonic the Hedgehog.
They're vicious vestigials.
Someone was saying in the chat earlier that there's a video going around right now of someone sharing a lollipop with their snake.
Oh, that's old.
Oh yeah,
it's a ball python. He's just like this,
and he's just tongue flicking them. I mean, it's funny, but I mean,
there's also a video of a girl that's deep throating a ball python.
Oh, that black chick?
Yes,
I've seen that. Throatzilla over there. You see that one? See that one where there's like some type of street performer, half naked girl, and she has like a boa and it's near her face, and it bites her.
Yeah, I've seen that. Just people do dumb stuff with snakes. It's like, I don't know if they still do it, but I know there's back in the day, like strippers used to take snakes out on stage and dance with them. That kind of stuff is asking for problems. I mean, you get a snake and he's had a bad day, and you're over here dancing
crazy
with
stereo systems with subwoofers vibrations in his face. Like, there's no.
Just leave them alone, man. You ain't gotta take them out and play with them. They're not. Go get a puppy if you want to play with a pet.
Joe, they want to know when we're getting the double dick you down T-shirt.
The problem is, like, I don't think if I make something, I want to be able to wear it, and I don't know if I could wear that in public.
No.
The fuck?
Okay. Oh wait, I found the fucking thing. WBTV, whatever this fucking dumb website is. Man claims he was bitten by copperhead snakes in Iredell County, wherever the hell that is. But so it doesn't have the fucking pictures. It's a fucking video. Yeah, this isn't very good for. But apparently it was in like some abandoned. He was a squatter in an abandoned house. So this just got less validity now that I read into it. It's clearly just a weird crackhead who's squatting in someone's house who said that they were bitten by a drawer full of copperheads. I don't know.
By a drawer full of copperheads.
Whatever. But I mean, that's the things that get shared around and people think it's real life.
People believe too much on the internet.
Oh, it's on the internet. It must be true.
Yeah.
It's true. It's damn true.
Just like this is Ice Cube.
Yeah, I mean, today
I wish I had that Ice Cube money.
You just have a lot of snakes. You wouldn't be any richer, just richer in snakes.
I'd have a nice house, badass car, and more snakes. I'd have like my dart frog room, then I'd have my green tree room, then I'd have my carpet room, and then I'd have
Gaboon room,
my smoke room, and then I'd have the
for
game
smoking
room.
Cigarettes.
Fuck no. What?
All you do is drink Dr. Pepper and smoke cigarettes. Don't act like you do anything else. Get out of here.
Conversation for another day. But I would do a lot if I had IQ.
I would do a lot. Whoa, what is going on up there?
Someone asked if you still have any corns left.
Oh yeah, I do have like 2 het snows left.
2, 3, 4 left.
Yeah,
Get him, man.
Have his illegal gun room. Okay.
or legal gun room.
No, you have a legal gun room. You don't keep your illegal guns in the legal gun room. Come on, man. Keep those hidden.
What are we talking about now?
I was telling boy he needs to go and pick up these last 2 little corn snakes you got. Dude, they're badass. I actually have one that I got from Joe, and that little thing. Well, I'm trying to get my blue line. I'm doing everything possible to get my blue line because that's gonna from Bill. Well, Bill has one. There's a couple out there, and I need that blue line in my life, and it's like that's everything I do.
So what he's gonna do?
Chondros,
he's gonna sell
like,
half of his collection. Finally, get this blue line animal. Then it turns green, and then
It's not even about the color so much. It's about the genetics because
Yeah.
I'm smart enough to know even if it goes green, it still has those genetics.
Yeah.
And so it's still, you put it with the right snake, you unlock something. It happens. And to me, it's not even, I wouldn't even sell everything because I did go through that point where I was like, man, what if I just take all my chondros, sell them all, and I can maybe get, what I really want. And I was just like, I'm going to regret that. And it's like, I put so much work into these that I have now just because they're imports. I love them and it's so much fun. And no, I'm going to keep them. I do have one that's available, but it's like, I can't believe it hasn't sold yet. We're talking about just snakes right now don't seem to be selling anyway. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it don't sell.
Wait until
pretty
tax
soon,
time, and then fucking all the
tax time
snakes
won't
are
be
gone.
all over it.
But I just haven't really been trying hard because I'm just trying to figure out what I want to keep and what I don't.
Right. You don't want to keep that little ugly green one you got over
Yeah.
there. That's for damn sure. It was telling me, it's like, I want to go home with Evan. I was like, yeah,
Talking to you.
for real.
Someone said, does anyone here have any experience with false water cobras?
No.
But I mean, they're colubrids and they're Asian colubrids. You're going to keep them a little bit cooler. They're going to shit all over the place. They're just going to be Asian colubrids and shit all over the place. That's pretty much it.
I don't know
I
anything about them.
believe they're from Asia. I
all
may be
Asian
making that shit up.
colubrids?
Too.
I just know they're not real cobras.
I've
That's what I can tell
just
you.
heard from people that they have really fast metabolisms and are pretty smelly and musky and all those types of things. So
Crebo-ish,
yeah, I mean they're pretty much Crebo-ish and
indigo-ish,
but
paint the
I mean,
walls.
some people have them and they're handleable
Oh,
and
he
they're
says
cool.
they're from South America.
South America, all right, yeah, I'm
Well,
stupid.
you were away.
Whatever,
Yeah.
same thing.
So wait, they're colubrids though? False water cobras are colubrids?
Well, because colubrids is a catch-all for everything that's not an obvious venomous snake or a python. It's really there's no reason why a hognose snake should be in the same family as a corn snake. They're just so different, and one has rear fangs. Like all the rear fang snakes are grouped into colubrid. Why don't they just make a different family? Or I don't know. Colubrid's a catch-all basically. It's like something like it's like 70% of all the snakes. It's a high percentage of all the snakes are colubrids, but that's just because if they don't fit the other families, they're just lumped in. So if they're not a lapids, if they're not viperdi, if they're not python, then they just colubrids. But I mean,
They're just fucking snakes, people.
yeah, but I mean, we're just trying to name shit. But I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't separate colubrids a little bit because it's way too far reaching. It doesn't make any sense, but whatever.
Oh no.
I thought
Any other questions? What's up?
Well, no, Lily Pad's just been chatting away. She hasn't really
she's
been-
flirting with dudes over
Yeah,
here.
no, she's pulling
Oh
off.
man, who's Stoxy? It's a new one.
Oh no, Doxy.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, I don't know this whole. I mean, and now chondros are different species, and everything at the end of the day, everything gets rearranged and put somewhere else, and it can get real confusing.
Exactly, yeah. The fucking snake family. That's what's up. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, I mean, we're just humans trying to put names on shit that, God created, and since God created these creatures. And Noah fit them all on the ark. So it's like, if he fit these all on the ark, we got to name them all out of respect. So that's the hat that Melissa acts like.
I hate
And
this
you
hat.
definitely can't read it on the screen. So
Make Herping great again.
So we
America.
No, but it's in the back of videos and you can't read it, and I don't want one.
So we have a
It-
stereotypical Donald Trump hat that says "Make herping great again" instead of, and I never wear it because Melissa thinks that people are gonna think.
They're automatically gonna think it's a Trump hat.
It doesn't matter. Who cares?
Are we going to talk about Trump?
Nope. We're gonna talk about herping.
I can talk about Trump all day long.
Place in the
Fucking
whole world
bitch.
to go herping. Or if you could.
I guess it really kind of depends on what species you really like. Like me, I'd want to go look for green trees. I just think that would be badass. So you put me in like Indonesia, New Guinea, whatever, Australia, that'd be great. Especially with Australia, probably that whole little area right there. New Guinea, and then suck that head, boy. Get that head.
It keeps on coming. Holy shit.
Yo, what the hell just happened?
Oh,
okay.
I'm about to throw up. I just had a half shotgun of beer. What the fuck was that?
No, but I'd like to.
All right. Good job.
I'd like to go, looking for carpets and looking for green trees and
In
stuff
South
like that.
America.
But I think here, the one thing I do want to go look for is actually here in Texas. I want to go find gray bands. And I've been dying to get a small little group together and all of us go out, South Texas, Southwest Texas, and go find some gray bands.
And
I think
I've
that
been
would be
really
fun.
into Baird's rats and Transpecos, and they're
Those Transpecos. And that's all like right there together anyway.
Yeah.
So that'd be a fun
we'd be
little
in
trip.
the same range.
Big Bend is right there.
We really gotta go, and I think it's right there, but it's not at the same time. It's so far away, even though we're in the
7
same
hours.
state.
It's 7 hours.
7 hours if you're fucking flying, man.
No, from
It's
my
more
house,
like 9 hours.
I think from my house, I Google Maps it, and it was like 7.5.
Well, I
call
was
it 8.
looking because like my buddy lives in El Paso, and I was like, what if I drove out to El Paso, then took off from there, and went down to Big Bend and shit like that? But
Well, I know I tried to do this when we had Southern Carpet Fest. I talked to a lot of people and was like, hey, let's set up something and go find some alternative. Everybody's like, hell yeah. Well, when the time rolled around and I actually set something up, everybody
it's a
flaked
bunch
on
of
me
poor
and-
people
yeah,
with
nobody
shitty
wanted to do,
cars.
and
That's why
all this other stuff happened, but-
because our cars are either pieces of
Right.
shit or
Hey, but I say
Fucking-
that either the spring or early June. I think we need to get a good little group together and head out. And I think that would just be so much
we're
fun.
probably going to be moving from Texas around that time, so I want to do it right before we move.
The
So
fuck
like,
are you moving from
I need
Texas
to go
for?
for
Hold on, this is
Wait,
new to
didn't
me.
tell you?
No, why the fuck are you moving from Texas?
For family reasons. We have family in the north, and
I got family in the north, but I'm still staying in Texas.
Yes, but you have children and all that already. You think about the future. It's helpful to have family around.
I am not comprehending. What the fuck?
We're moving to Philly.
Oh,
probably
fuck
Pennsylvania
no.
or something.
We're moving to Philly.
You're gonna be out there with Eric Burt.
Yeah, and Matt.
Owen
and
McIntyre?
We're gonna be out there with all of them.
Oh, that fucking
Philly's
blows.
only 2 hours.
Well, the
away.
thing is that like Pennsylvania, like I can't move back to New York where my parents are because it's just way too fucking expensive. So it's like, and her parents all live in North Carolina. So it's like, if we can be somewhere in the middle of there, so like southern Pennsylvania, like Philly or something like that. And there's like zero herp laws, just like
Well,
even Texas, you still need fucking
all I
all
can
these
say is
licenses
I'll be
and
coming to
shit.
visit, so you better take me to get some fucking cheesesteaks.
I mean, we won't be true Philly people like the other Philly people, So
Saying
we can
things
bring
like
in a
John.
fucking New York,
But we'll
but
still be here
Water.
for Carpet Fest. We're not moving till
Everybody's moving.
June or
Yeah.
July of next year.
Moving July.
plus
That way
like
in
with the
June, we could all
colubrids, it's
do
so
this.
much easier to
Because
be
that'd
where
be
it gets
be
cold.
fun, man, to get a little small group and go out, Southwest, right for y'all move.
No,
'Cause
like
if y'all
I'm
gonna move, that
literally
would be
doing
like-
it. We're literally gonna do it.
That would be badass.
Literally, like not figuratively, like literally.
Gonna move or go?
Gonna go to West Texas.
All right.
What's your thing then? Where best herping place for you in the world?
So I never really knew the answer to this question, but West Texas is definitely one of those up there, but that's kind of bullshit because we live too close for that to make it like a thing. But since I've been reading Bill Love's book, he talks about Madagascar, and that's like an underground amazing place for like, you think about all the snakes that naturally look the coolest as far as you're talking about your ground boas who are just naturally super beautiful, or things like panther chameleons and all the other types of chameleons that are just naturally amazing looking, and all these other lizard species and gecko species. And I've just been liking Madagascar more and more just from reading all the stuff from his trips to Madagascar. And tortoises, radiated tortoises and stuff like that.
All I can think of is the movies.
And the lemurs and
the Madagascar movies.
and the lion. Is there a lion in that movie?
Yeah, there's a lion and a zebra.
Yeah, it's not real life.
No, but they escape from the zoo. Isn't that how it goes? And then they end up in Madagascar?
I don't know, man. That doesn't make much sense to me, but whatever. I know.
Oh no. I mean, you have children. You've seen Madagascar, haven't you?
I think so. I've seen, because I like those kind of movies, so I've watched a bunch of them. Even when we didn't have kids, it's just some of those are funny, and I think I've seen.
There's a lot to
like Ice Age and
there.
shit was funny. Like, come on, man, y'all, everybody like Ice Age.
It depends what kind of learning level you're on, you know.
But I can't tell you if I saw Madagascar. I think I did, but I ain't not telling.
Southeast Carpet Fest would be near Tampa, right?
I have to check my
Cape Coral.
messages.
So it's more towards Miami, the south, I believe. But I mean,
Tampa's in the south.
yeah, it's
Is
kind
it
of in the
Cape
middle
Coral?
of this state area. But I think Cape Coral may be in the middle of the state. I don't know how Florida works, but I mean, it's definitely within driving distance. But I mean, it's not near Tampa per se.
Lily Pat
Why-
asked what city.
Is somebody going to?
I was
Carpet
thinking
Fest?
We're gonna try to go. Well,
Yeah.
Lily Pat lives
And
in
Lily Pad
Florida.
lives in Tampa.
No, she doesn't.
Oh,
she
I
lives.
thought she lived in Tampa.
Maybe she does.
Oh, you should try to go, regardless of where you live, because if people are flying in, then you don't have an excuse if you live in the same state.
And plus, you get to meet like real
Us.
deal people.
Like
Like
us.
not we're the least real deal people. I mean, you know, you get to see like Dave Palumbo's collection, who has a huge collection,
Oh, yeah,
and
she lives near
you get to
Tampa.
meet Ian and all that good stuff. And who knows who else will be there? I mean, Carpet Fest are just a good.
She's 16. She can't drive, Evan. So she has an excuse.
Well, you got to get that license real quick. Don't you have like 6 months to get it when you're 6? I don't know how Florida works. Get licenses. But you definitely don't want to be. You don't want your 16-year-old to be driving 3 hours to go to a snake thing.
A snake show with a bunch of like 30 to 40-year-old men, and then me. Like that's pretty much how it goes. A bunch
Yeah,
of
you
old
would
men
be-
and then me.
You would be the only way she'd get in.
I'm
but-
not. The girl population is very.
Even,
very
I mean,
low.
the snake community in general is definitely trends older.
Old men. Why do you think women aren't into it as much?
But if you look
The
at a
fuck
lot
you
of the
trying to say?
colubrids and
It
stuff,
is.
there's
Look
a
at
lot
it.
of
It's
women
mostly
in
older men.
Oh, you're right.
What?
Cape Coral, right?
Yeah, it's going to be at Dave Palumbo's place,
Oh, she doesn't even have her.
and I think he's saying in February, and so then I
Oh, that's
think,
real soon.
yeah.
I thought it was in spring.
and then no, we're in spring.
Gotcha.
We're going to be end of April, beginning of May.
We gotta find a way to get to Florida in February.
You drive long ways. Yeah.
Yeah, but that should be fun. I'll roll. If y'all are driving, I'll roll straight up. Like we can.
We're gonna have to do
That
it.
shit would
We're
be
gonna
fun.
have to do it. You know, we're gonna
long as people don't
make
lock
a
their keys in the
video,
car.
or we'll do a
We'll do a
podcast,
Dixie.
or you don't lock your keys in the car, or
Dude, we could do
I
like
don't know,
we could
or, you know,
we could go live on Instagram on the way out there. Just do like
the
a
whole 16 hours.
16 hours.
Melissa will be sleeping or
Yeah,
complaining.
let's go sleep.
Listen to Lil Pump
Someone
Gucci
said,
Gang.
I agree. YouTube's getting a lot of female reptile YouTubers lately.
Yeah, because if you put a fucking what do you call that?
yeah,
if you put a
all
thumbnail
honesty,
with
man.
a girl on there,
All honesty, titties and snakes. They're gonna make more people.
that's why it's so shitty. You get so many girls who are decent looking. Like, as long as you're decent looking and you can talk about snakes, no matter how legit you are, no matter if you have any background of anything, you get like fucking followers like crazy. And it's just hard. I mean, that's no excuse. I mean, obviously, other people, even though they have long hair, other people have been able to get popular on YouTube without tits. But I mean, maybe it's the hair. Maybe I need to get hair, but like I can't, I'm trying.
No tits, little dicks. Come on down to BHB.
I wasn't naming anyone. No one knew who I was talking about.
Dave Kaufman's big, but that's because he does herping stuff.
But he's not. But what I'm saying is Dave Kaufman, he has long hair too, though. But Dave Kaufman's like Herpers TV may have like 15,000 to 20,000 subscribers. We're talking like Taylor Nicole Dean, whoever that is. She has like 100,000, and then Emma Locke, who, I mean, she knows shit, but she's got like over 100,000 now. Some of the girls are getting far up there. Like Dave Kaufman's very big within the community, which I think, I mean, I kind of want to be that anyway. If I'm going to be anyone, like, I don't care about being fucking popular, right? Like, as long as people in the community don't hate me, which some of the YouTubers have gone too far, and that the whole community backfires on them. So it's like, I think Dave Kaufman's a perfect example of someone who's like hasn't sold out to the whole community not liking.
Who became a fame whore.
Yeah.
That's what it really is. It's about money and fame whore. I mean, I talk a lot of shit because I don't like Brian. I don't like BHB.
See, I don't really have
my issue is basically
halfway.
Where they stand. It's about that dollar, and it's not about the health of the snakes or anything. It's about making the newest morph to make the most money. And I don't like that. I don't agree with that. I think it's shitty. But
I don't think he does that much anymore. I think he does more pet sales.
You know why?
Now.
Because I think
he can.
I think a lot of shit, the backfire hurt him. But I think, I don't know.
I think it's good though that he's able to make his living basically on YouTube and not having to breed all the animals anymore. He makes his nut on YouTube, which is like, I think that's good for everyone. He doesn't have to breed as much anymore with the big shit and all that.
I don't like how he posted something about trying to get people to understand that snakes aren't something you need to be scared of. And then on an Instagram post, he's taking big pythons and he's running up to somebody that's scared of them and throwing it on them. What the fuck? Like, how do you say this? And then in the next video, you're terrorizing somebody with the same animal that you're saying, don't be scared of. You don't do shit like that, man. And that's no good for the community. All you're doing is help further somebody be scared instead of teaching them that there's really nothing to be afraid of, that this snake won't hurt you, and to learn about it. And it's like, he's so high up where with his reach, he should do something positive, and he doesn't. He had the whole venom hunters. Like, you could have really done real shit with that, and instead you made it look like the cool thing to do was you can get rich going out catching venomous snakes and then selling them.
His YouTube videos and even watch Discovery Channel anyway. Like, no one watches that kind of shit anymore. So it's like you're wasting your time if you're trying to get like TV famous.
Yeah, he's just
TV famous anymore because it's just not as big.
More power to him. He can do him whatever he wants to do. I don't really give a shit.
Okay, I know y'all could do a whole podcast about BHB, but someone asked about permits for snakes in Texas and specifically Mexican black king snakes.
You don't need permits for constrictors. You just need it for basically the big five. Anything on the Lacey Act and venomous, and you can get your permit for $20 at Walmart.
So your colubrid, you will be fine unless you're breeding and selling.
So he asked, what about breeding and selling?
Breeding and selling, you need a permit.
Yeah, it's like, I think it's don't give me the line. It's whatever the other permit is to sell them, but it's like $60, I think.
Yeah.
And then it's for just to have a keeping permit, it's like $20, and you can get it at Walmart in the hunting section.
Pots or for all snakes?
All.
For all.
You just go in there. It's just like where you get.
You have a permit?
Yeah. What the fuck? Yeah.
Of course.
You out here preaching this.
$20. I mean, $20. Come on.
Haven't heard someone.
You pay taxes.
And what it does is, what it does is it just saves you the hassle in case somebody comes over. I mean, that's all it really is. Unless you're going to sell them, you need it for, let's say you sell it online. There's a lot of people that like to snitch about shit like that in some of these groups. So have your shit ready just in case, because if game warden, whatever comes to your house, you need to be able to prove that your shit was legit. Because there's some fucking snitches out there. Yay!
Snitches get fucking stitches.
And left the ditches, bitches.
I mean, I don't. That's just you personally.
About what?
I told him I don't even want to get started on them. Like, I hate her. Joster's Jungle. That bitch who deleted the comment who called it an emerald tree python.
She's not a bitch. She's a nice lady who tries her best. God damn it.
Hold up. Melissa's turning up.
No, they said that earlier. I don't.
You can't talk shit. How dare you?
I just
Yes, you can.
You can't get on here and try to act like you know shit and then call your snake Queenie. And
but you don't know shit, and you make some
videos. That's why I'm not on here making
videos.
videos talking shit. I don't do it. I acknowledge that I don't know shit.
Damn.
Don't get in here acting like a 5-year-old and calling your corn snake Queenie and all this dumb shit, but try to act like you're real and call it an emerald tree python. Like, you're not real.
Okay. Well, now that you've said what you had to say, you know. There was a post on Colubrid Crazy.
Yo, she just got real in here. Damn, it's hot in here, man.
It said post your pictures of your snakes with hats on. And then I just posted the gif of someone shooting themselves in the face on the thing. And then this girl was like, okay. Well, it's like, listen, twat, if you're putting hats on your fucking snake, you troll bitch, fucking like do something with your time. Please.
Look, here's the funniest thing I just saw.
Color them.
Melissa just got really lit. Joe's like, calm down. Then Joe gets lit. Melissa's like, calm down. I'm over here like, get lit. No, I'm just kidding. This shit's funny though.
I saw this one today on the hog nose.
Oh, that's Shannon Hammer. That's an old picture. I think that's Shannon Hammer.
Oh, never mind.
Translates real good to that webcam.
It did earlier.
There you go.
I hate that.
What?
Lily Pat said Joster's tits are fake.
I don't know anything about that, but I mean, she does her best.
Showing off here.
Yeah. If you have tribal tattoos and are shirtless and have a snake in your hand, you might possibly be a tool. I don't know. And ripped jeans. He has ripped jeans too. This is great. Yeah.
Yo, what's up?
Well, no, but you talk about a guy like that.
What's
but you
up on the cooler though? Is it for
It's
sale?
It's a new incubator.
Yeah, those make great incubators. If anybody in Dallas area knows where I can find one,
Yeah.
that's my old high school picture.
But I mean, you see those girls who have those pictures with, oh my god, he likes going in my boobs, and yeah, it's a picture of your fat tits, you fat bitch. Get the fuck out of here with your nasty hangers with a ball python in it. Get out of here. No one wants that.
I don't know. I don't know who she is.
Yeah.
I just know of the emerald tree.
And then you go through and it's like Carpet Cartel like that. But she looks sometimes. I don't look at who likes there's like something on Instagram where you can see who all your friends are liking, and you'll see like snake people who are popular liking some very interesting stuff.
We like what we like. I mean, if you flip through my Instagram, you're gonna see a whole lot of frogs, snakes,
the occasional girl from
a lot of
MTV.
sunsets. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I'm a fan of Are You the One? I don't give a shit. I watch that shit on MTV. I love it. Yeah, but my girl Dee. Hey, Team Dee. Oh, I love Dee. I'm already friends with her. We talking to her.
Wait, is she like a repeat, or is this like
no? It's a new season. It's new season.
So it just started, and you're already friends with this random female.
Dee. And then I love my girl Shannon. If y'all don't know Shannon, she's badass. And Cass. Shannon and Cass.
What are your thoughts on tickling parrots? Because fucking Josser does that.
On
I
what?
have no idea what you're talking about.
Tickling parrots.
Look, why don't you? I just
play
deep
with
fry
your
them off.
animals.
I don't know. I don't do nothing with birds.
Her parents.
Her parents.
Tickle the
That's
parents.
so
That's kinda
creepy.
weird.
That's so much worse.
Hey, mom! Tickle, tickle, tickle. What the fuck? Come on down, daddy. Tickle, tickle, tickle.
I know she's foreign, but that's a little weird.
I don't know shit about birds. I can tell you how to clean one and cook one. Well, not really clean it, but I can tell you how to cook it. Deep fry. Makes it tender.
I mean, I think those parrots live for fucking ever and they get really attached to shit. I just think she has a lot of animals very quickly, and
She's a savannah monitor.
yeah, I mean, in order to keep a savannah monitor, you need to know some shit. And most people. They cost
Tickle, tickle,
$25.
He said, make that a shirt.
Tickle, tickle,
I'm gonna have to go back and watch the video now. See what he said my face and saying, "Hey, mom, tickle, tickle, tickle."
Okay, it's 8 o'clock. I have homework to do.
Who cares about your homework?
Why she's always like the mom. She always kills the vibe. She's like,
I mean, we
okay,
ate today.
I'm
Everything's
hungry.
good.
It's time for the
What
show to
fuck?
end.
Go walk the dog. Do whatever you want. We're just trying to have fun. The one podcast she wasn't here, me and Dave went like 2.5 hours just because she wasn't.
And then
here.
it like turned off and then came back on and it was still off. Like, damn, dude, it's like 10 o'clock. Y'all.
That's
still
her
going?
like jamming on the keyboard or something. I don't know. We were just now we get to really have fun without mom here. Now you can double pad that
Hell yeah.
fucking
butt is
metal
killing me.
chair.
I think even my nuts went to sleep on this.
Fuck. Now the whole I don't even know what we're talking about. Oh, I don't know who Dylan is, but he said, "Way to go, Melissa. Now I'm hungry."
Oh, dude, we had some pizza. She was good.
Yeah, we decided to like eat before the podcast now and
Mhm.
go through all
I
that
see people getting
bullshit.
upset that we fix to talk about food because I'm fixing to make some gumbo here in the next couple of days. Yes, sir. That's gonna be all over Instagram
Evan
too.
cooks like a Cajun, like a fat Cajun mom. Like he cooks like fucking alligator and crawfish and all the other bullshit creatures you wouldn't eat otherwise.
I've actually got pictures, I think, on my Instagram of what was it, March, when I did my crawfish boil. And oh man. Yeah, my nuts what they did. I'm talking about my nuts went to sleep because I was sitting there like, God damn. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, the crawfish boil. Man, that shit is good. And actually, if anybody's in the Dallas area, not necessarily Dallas area, if you're in Texas and you want to come out to Southern Carpet Fest, we are looking at probably end of April, beginning of May. Probably that last week of April or that first week of May, whichever weekend is better. We will probably be having Southern Carpet Fest. It is not just about carpets. It's about passion for all snakes. Even if you don't like snakes, it's still fun to come out and learn. You see Bill Stiegel's collection. He's got a lot of balls, carpets, green trees, a few other odds and ends, and rough scales. He's got some nice stuff. And so I think we're going to actually do a crawfish boil this year. Last year we did fajitas, and I think we're going to do crawfish this year. So that's going to be
someone who I need to have Howard on the show. He's
dude. I highly recommend
it's just hard
but
because
he's got to be drunk. Get drunk, Howard, on the
it's
show.
hard because
Oh
we have so many Morelia people, even though I don't really keep I only keep like a few jungles, but like the only people I know are Morelia people just because I don't know, like I guess Carpet Fest plus like once you know one carpet person, you know the people they know, but like I know Ryan, but either than I don't know.
Yeah, and he's got retics, but it doesn't even matter what you have. I mean, it's just so much fun. It's just a big get together. It's a big party, and it's been at Bill's house since we started. So probably the past 3 have been at Bill's, and this last one's going to be at Bill's. And I don't know what we're going to do after that, but we'll figure it out. But man, it's just a good time. You know, we do T-shirt orders. Austin Warwick that was on here, he actually designs our T-shirts. He does all the T-shirts. Great guy, and it's just a good time, man. And a lot of people, I tell people they come out, they get out there probably about noonish, 1, 2 o'clock, and they typically leave about 5, 6. They stay a couple hours. I highly recommend staying till the crowd thins out. once it hits roughly midnight, it turns into a whole nother atmosphere. I mean, people are drunk. The fucking, what were they playing? Cornhole. It turns up, man. It gets so much fun. And it just, you find out about your buddy Jeff being in foursomes with dudes and weird shit. I don't know. Shit was going down in the hot tub
while you're in a beef stew in the hot tub for 6 hours.
That was fun, man. But yeah, I mean, you guys.
I mean, that's
try to
really
make it
where
out.
like you're on this Facebook bullshit and everyone's shitting on each other and like being dicks, and then once you're in person, all that stuff just goes away.
It does, and it's a good time. Like I said, I'm not saying drama doesn't happen. I'm just saying it's never happened at our Carpet Fest. There's not been any issues where we had to tell people to leave, nothing like that. It's just a great time. And I mean, it's just a big party and everybody has a good time. And like I said, you can follow me at Carpet Cartel on Instagram or Carpet Cartel on Facebook. And there's also a Southern Carpet Fest. I think it's Southern Carpet Fest 2017 page. And if you follow that, I update that with info. So once we get the date set for sure, of course, it'll be plastered everywhere and let y'all know and come out, man. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, like one of the dudes said he's only like 20 miles away or from Dallas, so he must be decently close. But I mean, you just get to see a collection of, I mean, the sickness.
Sickness.
Just like chondros and different Morelia.
And I'll tell you right now,
pythons
sickness is badass. And for y'all that don't know, Sickness is a chondro owned by Bill Stiegel that he produced. Sickness is one of the baddest chondros I've ever seen, but that is not my favorite chondro he has. I really like Lucky Charms, and I really like
that blue
the
one.
gems. Yeah, not the female, but the male to that pairing that he just paired with his blue female Cyclops. That gems male. Oh man, that blue and green just does it for me. But yeah, Sickness is something special.
He has like rough scales too, though, and bloods and all types of shit. Plus, there's really not anywhere else where you can get that real, see like a good collection. Like,
yeah, I'm not fixing to have no
like
Carpet Fest in my house. You come over and look at my 8 snakes. Let's check out my collection. I got a total of like 12. Actually, I think I got 12 snakes.
Yeah, he's definitely got stuff to pick through and stuff for everyone as far as like he's got balls even and stuff like that.
13.
But so Actual Gaming said, does anyone know Alan Frisco Plano? I used to live in the Colony, so I was like right up in Frisco and Plano. I was right on the border of Frisco and Plano.
I don't fuck with that area.
But yeah, now that I'm down here in Dallas, I don't go north for dick. I might go to Arlington or something for any RBC. It's about it, or Lone Star. Otherwise, I try not to go north because then you got to fuck with fucking Midway or the Tollway or some shit that I don't want to fuck with. But yeah, Allen is pretty damn close. I mean, in comparison to the scope of fucking everyone else,
Central.
People in Germany, you're a lot closer. But yeah, that's not too far.
Yeah, y'all need to get some dart frogs in your life. I'm telling you, you need some dart frogs.
I mean, for me, like once I hunker down, I either want like a fish tank. Or,
I guess that makes sense because y'all are talking about moving. I'm just like, what the fuck?
I definitely don't want to move with frogs and stuff.
Yeah,
it's easy enough to move with some snakes.
You don't need to move with that green tree either. It'll stress real bad. Leave it here.
I went from Colorado to New York with the green tree, and it got out. It was just hanging on top of the tub, and there was a pine snake got out too, and it was all right. I mean, that's what the people say, that they're very sensitive, but I mean, I don't like. I moved with them twice, man, from New York to Colorado and Colorado to Texas.
Too, because I know some people just.
I was just being cognizant, just being a decent human and keeping them at a room temperature. Like not anything crazy.
I'm determined to try to get this green tree off of him. I've been asking him all day. I was like, if you ever want to sell it, let me know.
Like I said, everyone's got a price. It just may be higher than.
I'm a green tree person. I see him. I'm always trying to get him. I can't help it.
I'm
gonna trade him a retic.
I love the green tree, but that will probably be my only green tree unless I go really balls deep and I get a fucking one of those canary Kofiaus. Fucking those, if you guys don't know what those are, completely yellow, like canary yellow fucking green tree. It's like, imagine that baby color, and it just keeps like kind of a softish yellow color in comparison to that.
That's
Fucking
crazy.
amazing. And it's stupid because green is like probably the best looking snake you can have. But once you get used to looking at all the green trees, you're like, oh, the Beox get old, the green ones get old, and then I don't know. Once you see them, man, you're like, oh, everyone's got these black specked ones now.
To me, they're just so, I don't know. I don't even care. Like, even when they're drab green, bright green, blue, you never get tired of them. Like, I've had other snakes where I've gotten tired of. It's just, oh, I'm gonna do this with them, and then I have them. I'm looking at them like, I don't even want to work with you no more. And I've always been, what did Bill call me? He called me a restless keeper, because I would have this idea of, I want to breed these and get ready to do all this, and I'll buy a bunch of them. And it was just like one day, it's just like I'm looking at them and I'm like, I don't want to fucking do these anymore. Like, they're not nothing special for me. That's not doing nothing for me. And chondros have never, I mean, it's always from the jump just been like, chondro, just, I got the fever and it never went away. But I mean, with most snakes, I love my carpets and I love chondros.
Yeah.
But most of the stuff is just kind of like, like ball pythons. It was like a quick spurt and then it was over. It was like, ball pythons, I can make this. I can make this. I don't want to fuck with these snakes anymore. You know what I mean?
For some reason, it's like ball pythons are easy, but they're their own type of easy. Like, if I have a bunch of ball pythons, then they're easy. But if I'm keeping a green tree, a carpet, a fucking hognose, all this stuff, then it's like, that's just another different type of way of keeping that I have to keep up with. I mean, they're easy. Once you keep one of them, you can keep 100 of them. But I mean, it's a matter of fucking, it's just a different way of keeping. Same with, I feel that way with green trees. I mean, if I'm going to have green trees, then I'm going to have mostly green trees, because I could set something up, man, where it's like perfect for green trees.
See, that's what I really want, is like I want a collection of about 20, 25 animals. That's it. Once I hit that mark, I'm done keeping. Then I think I'm going to try to breed. Like, I want to get what I want now and start raising it up, having it. And then within 5 years, I'm looking at starting to breed. So within that 5 years, I want to be able to buy all my caging, buy the animals I want, and just sit back. Let them do it.
But I mean, that's kind of what you have to do. I mean, there's not many people consistently producing. There's Bill and Buddy and Ian. Ian has killed it, but he said that the year before he actually didn't do very well, but he killed it this year. And I mean,
I think more people are starting,
but that's more consistent than anyone else.
But I think more people are starting to produce, but you're seeing a lot of the high dollar stuff more so than like locale specific, which is, that's still great. Like, I love to see $3,000-$4,000 snakes, because usually they look fucking phenomenal, and it's just, some people could never see themselves spending $5,000 on a snake. At some point in my life, I want to be able to say, I bought this snake for $5,000, because that snake is probably going to be like the most phenomenal snake I've ever bought, and the motherfucker better outlive me for $5,000, But I just can't wait. I hope it happens. Right now I'm just trying my hardest just to get a little blue line.
For me, it's like, I feel like you get that snake and then you kind of forget that it's any different than any of the other snakes. So it's like, I have the palmetto, but I forget that that snake, most of my collection's riding on those two snakes, like, in comparison to my whole collection, when I could still be good if I just have my palmettos left. But it's like, fucking, I just see them as regular corn snakes now. But
I'm seeing this D Python says they saw Carpet Fest in the Pennsylvania area. Actually, they are the original Carpet Fest. That is the Northeast Carpet Fest that is ran by Eric and Owen, who do the Morelia Python radio. And basically, you can contact them whenever they have their next Carpet Fest. If you want to go, and just contact Eric and talk to him and let him know, hey, I'm interested in attending and stuff like that. And they're usually pretty good. You'll meet probably Howard, Bill. Bill usually goes. I'm trying to go.
If we could go, we would all go to that one.
2018, I plan on that. I'm trying to make 3 different Carpet Fests for 2018. I'm trying to go to Southeast in February. I put together Southern Carpet Fest down here with Bill, and then I want to go to the original OG in Pennsylvania. And so I want to make those. Well, I want to make 2 of them. I know for sure.
There's enough of them where you're close to something.
So, but
unless you live in fucking Kansas.
I highly suggest trying to go. It's such a great time.
And
if you got a $200 for a budget on a green tree, don't do it.
Yeah, I mean, you want to just start somewhere else. And then once you get to the level where, you're going to have more experience keeping snakes, you're going to have more money, I know Valiant Feint is like a younger kid, in his teens or something. I wouldn't have anything more than $200 to spend. And I didn't. And all I had was a corn snake, that's.
Yeah, that is not the snake to get as like a
and you're going through so many transitions as like a kid, like you're gonna
like
go to college.
Snake, that is not it.
Yeah. So if you only have a certain amount of money, like a lot of people think you get a certain amount of money and then you can buy the snake and then you're cool. But really, it's you get a certain amount of money, you got to buy everything for the snake. You still got to buy food. You got to maintain the snake. So, all the time I have people like trying to go crazy on beating down on prices, but.
He said, I'll buy a damn green tree and then get pissed at it and donate it to Evan. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, there you go.
They're great, man.
You'll
really
see.
are.
A lot of people really get frustrated, though, about.
I think they do because I think a lot of the frustration comes from you probably bought it for $200 from one of these big name flesh peddlers at an expo.
How dare you?
And then it just, it's an import. They don't tell you it needs to go to the vet. They don't tell you it's probably got parasites. Why would they? They're trying to make a quick sale, make that quick buck. So they're not going to tell you that. And so you buy this snake, you get it home, and all of a sudden it's grounding itself, which is when they leave the perch and they lay on the ground. Or, you just start to see bumps on it. It's
also,
not
you
eating.
Don't have it in a setup that's appropriate.
That too. And most of the time, they're not going to tell you exactly what it needs. They're not going to take that time at an expo to explain every aspect of a green tree. They're just not. They're like, buy it so I can make this money so I can move on to this next sale and make this money. That's what they do. Now there are some guys out there that take the time to talk to you. And I'm not saying all green trees at expos are bad, but it's like 90% of them, but you'll sometimes find some of the good guys at some of the shows. Usually Tinley is a good place.
Just started though, because they didn't have green trees there pretty much until this year, until like I went up there. It was still only wholesale animals like 3 years ago or so, because it's not worth it for a lot of the big chondro breeders, because they could sell online to people who are knowledgeable and they're not desperate to sell any snakes.
Yeah, I don't know,
because
I've bought green trees at expos, but I've done my research. So to me, buying an import is nothing, because I know what I'm getting into. It's not like, oh, what's wrong with this snake? Why is it? I know exactly what to do. You buy it, you take it to the vet. It's that simple.
I don't think imports are as terrible as people think they are, but also you just need to know what you're doing with them. You need to have a base of knowledge of the snake in the first place, to not fuck it up.
Man, it starts to smell good in here. What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know what she's making.
We just ate. I'm sitting here like, I'm getting hungry again. What the fuck's going on?
Yeah, everyone's saying how much they love green trees.
Oh, they're great, man. Like they're just they're not corns and balls where you can pick them up and handle. You can, but I just don't. I don't handle my snakes unless absolutely necessary. If I'm taking pictures of them, any of my pictures you see, I've usually pulled them out on the perch and then set the perch down, and I'll take a hook and just kind of tap them and move them around to where I want. I don't pick them up. To me, there's no need for it.
Even though my green tree's tame, I'll just leave it alone, just because it doesn't bring me any extra joy to hold it in comparison to letting it be and making sure. If I hold, like today, I changed my green tree's water, so I took him off the perch and like was holding him by the perch for a little bit while I changed his water. He didn't eat, so I was like, "Fuck, man!" So it's like. Once he gets out of the mode, like I'll open up the tub and I hold him. He gets out of feeding mode. I put him back for 24 hours. He doesn't want to eat. Unlike a corn snake, I could hold them and feed him at the same time. But for whatever reason, my green trees, he has an on and off switch, and he'll reset in 24 to 48 hours, and he'll want to eat again. But like, just because I held him by the perch and he saw me,
that makes a lot of sense, because my Jaya female is like that. Like when I'm cleaning her enclosure, I'll go in and she does that little head jerk where she's coming to check it out, and she's like, "Oh, it's not food," and I'll generally tap her with a hook, and then she'll just hide her head.
Yep.
And then for the next probably 24, 48 hours, she stays like that. She doesn't, even if I open the enclosure, she doesn't sit up. She doesn't. And then all of a sudden I'll go in there a couple days later, and then you see that head down, and you see her as soon as you walk by, her head starts moving real fast. She's on it. That's pretty funny. Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
do that.
I see mine has like a reset, after a certain.
Now, not all of them. Not all of them are like that. Some of them I can mess with.
You got those Biocs.
And they're fuckers. Oh, that one got me the other night too.
Yeah, because I mean that's definitely a representation as far as that they're mean. I mean, you get these captive born and bred ones, man. They're mine's pretty tame.
Most green trees can be a little pissy, but overall you're starting to see more and more of them pretty docile. But when it comes to localities and attitudes, I think Biocs as a large majority, especially the wild caught stuff, is a little bit nippier than everything else. But to me, it doesn't matter, because I've noticed the meaner they are, the more aggressive or defensive they are, the better they eat. The better moms
you can
they
also
make.
tell exactly what's going on. Like, I swear my olive python was 100% tame. And the other day I brought her out and I was like, I haven't just held her really much ever, because I know she's tame, and I'll hold her and I'll be like, this is the snake that I trust the most with like anyone. And then I had her and I was like sitting down on the chair. I was doing some work on the computer. And then I put my hand in front of her for her to crawl on it, and she fucking bit me. And I was just like, you can't trust these fucking snakes.
Yeah, if you're looking for carpets, man, depending on Howard Redding is a great guy. Who's got babies right now? Andrew Paris, Eric Burke, Owen McIntyre.
Go on.
Dude, there's a ton of carpet folks.
The carpet python classifieds. I don't know what the good group is right now. Honestly, I haven't had
there's a bunch of them.
Or bought carpets in a while. But
I mean, if you have a question on who to buy from, I'd just go to Morelia Pick of the Week or the Python Radio page, either one of those, and just ask. There's also like review groups, which are very good at seeing who to buy from and who to stay away from. I actually run the Good Guy, Bad Guy Exotics review group. And so come join. And there's we've been getting a lot more positive posts lately, which is really good, instead of a lot of, oh, I had this bad experience, blah blah blah. It's been a lot of good posts lately, so I'm like, hell yeah.
I mean, the bad guys, just since the advent of the fucking internet, have just slowly been fading away into the fucking darkness.
Yeah, you still get your shitheads, but
yeah,
the scammers and stuff like that, but yeah,
they get exposed pretty quickly at this point.
There's so many FBI feedback groups and all those kind of review groups.
Mm-hmm.
They're exposing them. And so it's, that hurts your business. If you're a shitty person and trying to make a quick buck on somebody else, you're going to get found out. And there's some assholes.
About dwarf retics, I don't know a crazy amount about it. I don't think people know exactly everything there is to know. Ryan would know more, but I mean, she was asking how big dwarfs get, and I mean, there's just different island localities from what I understand.
Yeah,
and there's no telling.
I know within that is exactly what she said is pretty much right. That's exactly what Ryan told me. I have a 50%, I think it's cellular or sea layer. I'm not sure how to say it, but it's a golden child retic, and so she's 50% dwarf. And so he told me, she won't get that big. She'll probably hit 12, 13 feet, and that's about it. She's not going to be a 20-foot monster or nothing like that. But the more dwarf blood, the smaller they're going to be. Now, I've seen some people say they had adult females that laid eggs and they were like 6 feet. I've heard that. I've never seen that, so I don't know how true that really is. I mean, a 6-foot retic would be pretty badass, full grown.
It's carpet.
It's a carpet. That'd be pretty cool. But
I mean, and I think it's hard to. I don't think many people are documenting it correctly. As far as they're after all the mutations, so it's like. Things may have come originally from the dwarf localities, but I think they've all been bred at some point. So you get all these like 66% dwarf and stuff, and I'm not sure how that all shakes out. I have no idea when I saw that.
I don't know about too much about.
And then like
stuff
there's
either.
super dwarfs and regular dwarfs and like
you said, the island locales that are smaller than others.
Yeah, but I don't think none of that stuff is down exactly. But I mean, it's just like at the end of the day, I mean, with some of these corns, there's like Sunglow amels, even though it's just a line bred amel. But what do you consider a Sunglow and a regular amel? It's just all under the keeper. It's up to the keeper what to name it and stuff. And I don't really like stuff like that. Like an extreme Okatee is just what makes
there's a lot of morphs in corn snakes. I didn't even realize there was so many morphs.
But a lot of them are line bred and like half not very palpable as far as like knowing what the difference between kind of like, you know, like crested geckos, they don't have any real mutations.
Why do do these keep coming up today?
They just have literal variations. If you guys don't know, Evan had a crested gecko dream.
Yeah, I had some weird ass dream. Yeah, squirt. I had this weird ass dream about fucking crested geckos, and now I was telling him, I was like, last night I was on YouTube and looking at a vivarium, like different vivarium builds and stuff, and this one girl, I guess she kept cresties or was building it for her cresties. I don't remember, but it was the last video I watched before I went to sleep. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. Next thing I know, I wake up laughing because I was dreaming about fucking crested geckos. And so today it's like everywhere I turn, looking at anything, I just keep seeing crested geckos everywhere.
And like one of the first things I told you when I was coming over, I was like, yeah, I was talking to some people. I'm probably going to have some crested gecko guy come over. You're like, crested geckos? Like, that's...
You don't know? Cresties are fun.
I mean, crested, have you ever held one of those things? They'll just fucking jump wherever, and they're like half retarded on what they want to do with their lives. But I mean, just so much more work than things that don't have legs. But I mean, you keep them room temperature and they breed just hanging out.
Yeah, cows are the next big thing for right now. Everybody and their brother's, mother's, uncle's dog wants a cow retake.
I mean, it's basically a very similar mutation to
GCs are awesome. Badass. That to me, I don't like retics. I'm not a retic. I should say I don't like them, but I'm not a retic person at all. Like I just, there's some pretty ones. They are pretty. They're just not for me. But I own 2 golden childs. I have a male and a female. That's the only morph I've ever, like, when I saw it, it just took my breath away. The first time I ever saw one was actually that dick face Bob Clark. And I was holding it. He put it in my hands. This is right when they first started coming out. So this snake, I'm like checking this golden child out. I'm like, this is so badass. Look at the iridescence. It's so crazy looking. How much is it? And this man told me $25,000. And I was like, well, here's your snake back. You know, like, I don't want to drop this motherfucker.
Have you ever heard of a water python?
But,
there you go.
Yeah, and white lips, they're the same way. All that iridescence, and it's almost the same color.
That's what gets me sometimes, man. There can be like a $50,000 morph that looks exactly like another snake. Then just be like...
But I think what it is it's breeding aspect. It's...
Yeah.
Buy it at this price so you can make bunches of them and sell it for triple that. You know, that's all. That's why.
But if you look at it objectively, as if you weren't in the reptile hobby, and it's like, what's cooler, a golden child retic or a white lip? You might be white lip, but I mean,
and that just deals.
And if you look at the price, you know, but yeah, it's all preference. But I mean, people just get way too carried away with a ball python that looks like a, you know, something else.
Well, shit, hey, I got that. I actually posted my female, the one I was just talking about. She's half cellular dwarf and then, or cellular blood or whatever. She's 50%. She's a 2017. She's about 4 feet long, and she is het for purple. So she's a nice little snake, man. Check her out. I got her for sale, just for a limited time. She's not staying for sale. She doesn't sell within the next 2 weeks. She ain't going nowhere.
I mean, what are you gonna do when you have just a lone male anyway? If you sold her,
I'll just keep it as a pet.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all I really planned on doing with her. And then he's like, "Oh, I got these eggs that are hatched. There should be some golden child males." And I'm like, I just don't feel right.
But you have
having a snake without another one. Like,
you have that inclination to pair everything.
I do.
Yeah.
It just I feel like I can't own something. Like, to be honest, you gave me the little corn snake, and I've got him at home. And I was looking at him the other day. I was like, fuck, he's gonna need a friend. And then, like I was just staring at it, like it's gonna need a fucking
But it's
friend.
like it's a corn snake. Do you really need a pair of corn snakes?
I just
But,
feel
mean,
like
they're chilling there anyway.
I feel like I got a dude know his fucking art.
Yeah. I mean, I need a male olive and a male water python. I have 2 females that are, getting up in size. I thought I was going to get one within a year or so and, have a pair and do all right. But I get too fucking distracted and then I just end up with females. But most of the females, luckily, have ended up to be males anyway. So, whatever.
Yeah, you have had a lot of them turn into males all of a sudden.
Yeah.
No, man, PM me. You can DM me on Instagram, or hit me up on Carpet Cartel.
Oh, so like he's actually in DFW area.
Yeah, I think he said he was in Allen.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, hit me up and figure something out. I mean, it's not cheap. I ain't even trying to lie to you. If you want a budget, she's probably out of your budget. So
yeah,
don't waste my time or yours. I mean,
I mean, a retake's not something you're gonna keep in your dorm room.
Yeah, true story.
Yeah. I mean, there are those things where you might be able to get away with it, but a retake really isn't one of those.
True story.
A retake really isn't one of the. I mean, if you're on any type of a budget, you're gonna go through 3 cage sizes in 2 years, man, or
college is overrated. No, I'm just kidding.
That's true. It costs way too much, man. You're gonna go out with these loans that you can't like. You're gonna end up with these loans that you
mom
can't.
Just got on her ass for that.
I mean, if you want to be a doctor, go to college. If you want to fucking own your own business or do something, don't go to college, man. That's it.
You're just gonna go in debt. You're going to school to learn to make money, just to go in debt.
Make sure that you get out of school with a job that's gonna pay you back that debt. Otherwise, just become a welder or something, man. All my friends who are
welders make great money.
All my friends.
If I knew how to weld, I'd be all on it.
All my friends who are doing well, like all my friends who went to college, they all have like sales jobs and stuff where making like 30 grand a year. And then my friends who went into like duct work or something make like 70 grand or something, like the people who do these blue collar jobs have made out a lot.
Hey,
better
send me
college.
Send me, are you actual gaming on Instagram? You send it to me, I'll accept it. I just get a lot of weird stuff sometimes on Instagram. These weird people that when you kind of look at their page, they have nothing to do with snakes. So I'm like, who the fuck is this? I mean, absolutely nothing. No snake pictures, no nothing anywhere.
You look catfishable.
Yeah, so I kind of sometimes don't.
I get weird messages from people who. I mean, like I don't mind talking to people. Like I'll talk to everyone, but I mean, I got this. I had to block someone on Facebook. Some dude was talking about how can he get his corn snake to stop going in his pants, and he farted on his corn snake and all this weird shit. I was like, this conversation is over, man.
Dude, I have to keep that going.
And this was like 50 messages. I am paraphrasing a lot. It was a lot weirder than even what I just said, man. But I was like, if for me to block you, you'd have to be real weird. Just
yeah,
I'll talk.
Just send me the request. I'll get it.
Yeah.
Well, there was like the other day. There was, what group was it? It was like Southeast Texas Snake Identification, and somebody was saying something, and I said something about people are shitty. I think they killed a snake or something. And I was like, people are just shitty. So one of these admins comes in there and is like, you need to watch your language, and I just put LOL, and then he was like, I'm serious. You don't want to play around.
People are
something like that. And then I was like laughing my ass off, Then I'm like, and I was like, you know what? And I wasn't that, so I was like, I'll just excuse myself from this group. And so I did. That's all I did. I just excused myself.
I can't be on those ID groups anymore because all it is just dead snakes.
Yeah. Well, he messaged me and took the time out to message me and was like, that was blah, blah, blah. And we don't need people like you and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I told him flat out, I was like, kill yourself, bro. Like, this shit wasn't that crucial. Like, all I did was remove myself. I didn't call you names. I didn't make a big scene about it. I just removed myself. But now you messaged me and want to fuck with me. So I was like, all right, kill yourself. You know, like seriously, fucking die.
That's
You know, like I don't give a
that's a
shit.
jump.
So my
there,
wife was like, you know, what the fuck? I'm like,
It's
man, fuck
it's
him.
a little uncalled
Go
for.
chug some bleach. I don't give a shit. Take a bath with a toaster. I mean, what the fuck? Dude was just out of nowhere, like tripping, like leave me the fuck alone, dude. It
Yeah.
wasn't that crucial. Then he goes and makes a post in the group that he tagged me in, and it was like, Andrew Evan Browder won't be in here harassing nobody else. And I was like, I was never harassing nobody. I was saying people that kill snakes.
Watch out for this Andrea girl.
Fucking stupid people, man. People are stupid.
But I mean, it's just those groups are just way too much. And it's just like, if you already posted the picture of the snake decapitated, does it really matter what it is? Because that's all those groups are.
See, that's another thing. He said he literally has no pictures on Instagram, but you send requests, so it's like it looks kind of like a scam. Like, throw up some pictures, because it looks like you have no pictures on Instagram, but you're requesting to follow people. It's like
there's a lot of ghosts out there like that. Yeah,
it's
and I mean,
weird.
or a lot of the snake guys just have snakes and stuff on there, and like you wouldn't know what a lot of these guys look like in person, and then you meet them and you're like, oh, you're that person who has a snake as your profile picture or whatever.
And I mean, Instagram's all about pictures. Like, why are you gonna have an Instagram if you're not posting pictures?
That's
your
the
one
whole
job. Point of Instagram.
Yeah, or else you're not on Instagram. But anyway, I think we've gone long enough.
Doses.
I'm getting kind of
hungry.
Nah. I just drank too much beer and I gotta, calm down, slow my roll, and take a good nap or something.
I guess I need a cigarette right about now.
What do you? Oh yeah, if you're an addict, how do you go 2.5 hours without a cigarette?
Because I'm not an addict. That's a good song. I haven't heard that in a while.
Is that a song?
How old are you?
Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
you're too old.
Damn, I just showed my age.
Maybe it's because you're too old.
Who remembers that song? I'm not an addict.
By who?
I don't fucking know. Google that shit.
I don't know.
Joe. She said Joe. J-O-W.
Joe. But
come on and eat,
do you have
Joe.
Anything to put out there? You're fucking
not really.
Carpet Cartel everywhere.
Yeah, if Carpet Cartel. If you're like Instagram at Carpet Cartel, Facebook Carpet Cartel,
Azurius Cartel.
No. I thought about going to Chondro Cartel for a minute, but
that would make so much more
also,
sense. But
right.
I mean, you've gone too far at this point.
It's just everybody knows Carpet Cartel.
Yeah.
Also, Southern Carpet Fest. I think it's Southern Carpet Fest 2017. There's also like just a Southern Carpet Fest page. Anything that says Southern Carpet Fest is probably me and Bill. So click on all of them, whatever. And any questions, stay up to date on the info that we'll be posting for Southern Carpet Fest.
Hell yeah.
Any other questions on green trees or whatever, I will answer the best of my knowledge.
Don't post in a group, you'll get decapitated.
Not necessarily. It's what I've
like
noticed
50-50
it's more about the people that do zero research, go out and buy a green tree, and then come in asking for help because they bought some shitty green tree without no research. I'll jump on your ass. Now, if you come in and it's like, hey, man, I've been thinking about this green tree. I kind of want to get it. What do I need to do to set it up? Oh, I'm going to be cool as shit and help you out.
But some of you be like, that green tree sucks dick.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of people. And then we'll tell you, look, if you're one of those people that are like, I saw it at Petco and I really want to save it.
It's dehydrated.
You're not saving that snake. All you're doing is buying that snake so the next one can take its place. Don't support Petco, PetSmart, whoever with these green trees. Don't
I supported them today by buying some anoles, which they're going to replace with more anoles I'm going to buy to feed to my corn snakes. And then I check out and they're like, oh, these are so cute. Like, what are you going to name it? I'm like, food item 1 and food item 2 for my corn snakes I won't eat.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I don't know. All right, folks.
All right, PortCityPythons.com, Port City Pythons Facebook, Port City Pythons YouTube. From the ground up, you're fucking listening to it. Download it, listen to it, do whatever the fuck you want. We're gonna see you later. Checking out.
Suck a fat baby's balls.
That's fucking Shrek. I don't know.
Tickle, tickle.